Hi sir, good evening.
Hi, good evening everybody. Good evening Mark. Magandang gabi sa iyo dyan.
Magandang gabi sir, bigla akong nagpolo.
Ako nga rin eh.
Kasi
Bigla ako
sir,
nag-quote.
no, yung mga inaabangan na lecturers ng mga viewers natin today polong-polo.
Oo, tama. Nakakaya talagang nag-costume talaga ang ating mga lectures for
Talagang
tonight.
we assure you na talagang nag-prepare yung mga lecturers natin tonight. At syempre, talaga namang sa Met Review Center, lagi tayong prepared. Tama ba, Sir EJ?
Tama yan. Prepared na prepared talaga tayo sa Met. At saka Mark, I think kailangan nilang malaman kung ba't naman natin ginagawa ito. Well, my dear friends, we're doing this. We are empowering our YouTube channel para makatulong dun sa ibang mga tao na nai-impluwensyahan ng mga maling impormasyon sa YouTube. Kaya nga mga kaibigan, ito ang aming advocacy na lagi tayong mag-iingat sa ating mga pinapanood. At sa Met, mga kaibigan, we can vouch for it. As you may notice, andyan ang mga pangalan namin, dalawa ni Mark.
Yes.
So talagang itiyataya namin dito ang aming talagang reputasyon. Ayan. Talagang meron kaming accountability to provide you correct answers na i-rationalize natin sa ating mga mini coachings today at sa mga susunod pang mga araw. Tama ba, Mark?
Yes, sir. And since laging mission natin na maghatid ng quality service sa ating mga reviewees and even sa ating mga subscribers sa atin ngayong gabing ito, dapat i-share nila to sa kanilang mga friends. Tama ba?
Tama. Kaya nga, like yesterday mga kaibigan, ngayon may task tayo. Ang unang task natin ay i-share ang ating link sa inyong mga social media platforms. At pangalawa, kung hindi pa kayo nakapag-subscribe, please, subscribe na mga kaibigan. Let's aim for 1,000 subscribers by the end of the week. Plus, please paki-click din ang ating notification bell kasi mga kaibigan, starting June, mag-upload po tayo ng maraming mga videos na makakatulong sa inyo. Plus, meron tayong mga weekly live sessions. Ayan. And alam mo ba, Mark, bakit natin ito ginagawa? Ito ay para sa ating mga hybrid students na nagsimula pa nung 2 years ago. And we promise them na hindi natin sila iiwanan not until ma-achieve nila ang kanilang goal na maging licensed professional teachers. Ayan, Mark.
Yes, tama. And by the way, sir, as of this moment, meron na tayong 29 viewers. So sir, siguro
Yay!
i-greet natin yung mga nandito sa chat box natin.
Oh, sige, sige, sige. Dito
Good
tayo.
evening to Miss Shervo Hani, Meryl Jean Puerto, Edward John Padilla.
Ay, ako pala yun.
Nandito sa chat box.
Oo, ayan.
Jennifer Taberna, Brizelle May, Arziel Lanoza, Maureen Lingat, Christina Figueroa, Fudbox 44, AC Saron. Yun, si Sir Philip nandun din sa ating chat box. So siguro sa pagiging guro, no, lagi tayong share ng share. Yan yung mission natin, mag-share ng learning. So dapat hindi rin tayo madamot sa pag-share nitong YouTube live stream na to sa mga friends natin. Tama ba, Sir EJ?
Tama. At para share nyo na, patype naman ng done, pa-share na, di ba?
Yes,
Na-share na po,
tama.
sir. Pada naman tayo dyan. Ayan. Ayan, padan po. Magandang gabi. Ito si Eleanor. Hi, Eleanor. Isa yan sa ating masugid na hybrid students. Ayan, hi sa'yo. Si Dwight andyan din. Magandang gabi. Welcome to the MET family. Kung bago kayo dito. At kung luma naman, welcome back.
Luma talaga. Okay. So, ngayong
Luma
gabi,
talaga
sir,
kasi Mark, ang ating mga hybrid students, 2 taon na nag-review sa MET.
tama.
At ang promise natin, hindi natin sila iiwanan hanggang sa katapusan. 2 years. Parang may MA na sila in review.
Yes. And sir, bigyan natin sila ng konting overview kung ano yung mangyayari
Sige.
ngayong gabing ito.
Sige, maganda yan.
So, ngayong gabing ito, no, magkakaroon yung mga lecturers natin. Ang tama ba ako? 15 minutes?
Each.
Yes, 15 minutes each and 10 questions each. So since this is a mini coaching, pero sisiguraduhin ko sa inyo, no, yung 10 questions na yan, busog na busog kayo after this. So meron kaming inihanda na mga tigta 10 questions, yung mga lecturers for today. So merong lecturers from Prof Ed and merong lecturers from Gen Ed.
Ayan. Actually, Mark, tonight, talagang interesting ang ating mga topics. Sisimulan niya ng the teaching profession, susunod dyan ang curriculum development, and then para naman sa Gen Ed, sisimulan natin sa math, and then Filipino, and then English. So ayan, yan ating mga subjects for tonight. Di ba? Napaka-exciting naman yan.
Yes. Ayan sir, siguro it's already 7:10. So siguro ipakilala na natin yung first lecturer natin.
Pero bati mo natin, may taga-Bulso dito sa ating chat, sa ating live chat. Hi po sa mga taga-Bulso.
Hello,
Magandang gabi po
mga
sa inyong
taga-Bulacan State University.
Sa mga taga-Cebu, maayong gabi sa inyong basta magandang gabi.
And syempre, wag natin kakalimutan yung mga tagigers.
Ay, mga tagigers. Hi, mga taga-tagig. Kamusta po kayo dyan?
Ayan. So siguro sir, start na tayo.
Sige, para
Sayang
talagang
ang oras, no?
I'm sure na-excite ito mga batang nasa ating YouTube live.
Tama.
Ay, by the way, bago yan mga kaibigan, bago ko makalimutan, today is also a very exciting night. Tonight is a very exciting night kasi may raffle tayo.
Oh, nice. So,
raffle tayo ng libro.
Yes, hanggang sa pagtapos nitong live stream na to, so wag na wag silang aalis.
Tama. At yung libro na yon ay ang ating bagong edition ng ating book, reviewer book, na if ever mananalo sila ang unang magkakaroon sa buong Pilipinas, di ba?
Yes. So yan.
Pero dapat, Mark, para manalo ka, kailangan subscriber ka ng YouTube channel natin. So subscribe na mga kaibigan.
Then sir, ano ba yung qualification para manalo doon?
Ang kailangan lang ay subscriber ka ng ating YouTube channel. So open for everybody as long as you are a subscriber sa ating YouTube channel. So yun ang requirement natin mamaya. So napaka-exciting. Mark, siguro simulan na natin.
Yes,
If
sir.
we are ready, pasay naman, yes, we're ready. Sir, sa ating chat box at sa ating live chat. Ano bang tawag dyan? Mark, nalilito ako.
Chat box.
Sa ating chat box. Ayan. Ayan na. Bilis. Pasabi, we are ready. Ay, ayan, may galing Cebu. Sabi niyo, we are ready, mga kaibigan. Kung kayo ay ready na, patype ready sa ating chat box. So we may begin. Ayan, ready. Mark?
Sir, hindi ko kilala.
Ready na sila. Ready na dito mga to.
Ayan.
Ang ating next speaker, I'm so proud of this, ang nasabihin na ito ay kasamahan ko sa UST, mga kaibigan. Isa sa mga pinakabata at pinakapogi na ating MET lecturer. Siguro after ko. Siya siguro ang number 2, mga kaibigan. Walang iba, mga kaibigan. Ang kanyang subject for tonight is the teaching profession. Let us all welcome Professor Philip Hernandez from UST. Hi, Philip! Magandang gabi!
Sir.
Good evening, Sir Edward, Sir Mark. Thank you po sa pagpapakilala. Totoo po yun, si Sir Edward ang number 1. Kami na lang po bahala nila, Sir Mark, mag-argue sino number 2. Okay, pero magandang gabi po sa inyong lahat, to all of those who are watching us via YouTube Live. So please don't forget to share this, okay? Share this feed and share the information about the YouTube channel. This is not going to be the last night that you're going to be getting free and substantial content that will prepare you for taking the licensure exams for professional teachers. Okay, so share ko lang po sandali ang aking slides. And just allow me to, just set my timer. Okay? All right. So, dito po sa atin sa MetReview Center, well, what we do is basically to provide you with review sessions, sample questions and tips on how to answer them and why those are the answers. Okay? Apart from those who will be, for those of you who will be enrolling in the programs that we have or those who will be availing of the book, okay? These materials of all of these things that we're doing on YouTube as well as the book that will be made available soon. Okay, these are meant to help you pass the licensure exams for professional teachers. Whenever that will be, so we're still looking at September 2021. Okay, and of course by March of next year and by September again of next year, we're looking at thousands of new professional teachers joining the workforce. Okay? At isa sa mga asignatura or sa subjects na tinetest natin syempre sa licensure exams for professional teachers ay ang teaching profession. Here in MetReview Center, we're not just going to give you the ideas or the background of the teaching profession, but also the larger perspective, which is found in social dimensions of education. Yun ang dati niyang pangalan. At ngayon, sa new curriculum, ang pangalan na niya ay the teacher, the community, school culture, and organizational leadership. Okay? So allow me to share tonight some 10 sample questions. And don't forget, every month, starting next month, okay, we're going to be having our lecturers sharing another 10 questions with rationalization every month until the time na magkaroon na ulit ng examinations. Okay. So, which statement is true of society's demand from the professional teacher? Merong demand at merong inaasahan ang lipunan, ang society sa mga professional na guro. Okay? So, let's take a look at the choices. The professional teacher is only concerned with classroom teaching. Effective teaching is the primary duty of the professional teacher. Because the professional teacher is expected to be highly enlightened, he is expected to campaign for the good candidate during election time. The professional teacher is not expected to lead in community affairs in order not to jeopardize her teaching. Kagabi, sa mga sumali na kagabi, alam ninyo na ina-analyze natin ang mga choices at sinasabi natin bakit kaya ito yung mas okay? Ba't kaya ito yung hindi okay? Tingnan muna natin, mas madaling mahanap alin yung hindi okay. If you take a look at letter C, because the professional teacher is expected to be highly enlightened, he is expected to campaign for the good candidate during election time. Bago ka naging isang professional na guro, ikaw muna ay naging mamamayan ng bansang Pilipinas. At karapatan mo bilang isang mamamayan ang pumili ng iyong kandidato, and in the age of social media, walang pumipigil sa'yo na sabihin sa mundo, sabihin sa publiko kung sino ang napipisil mo para tumakbo o para na manalo sa susunod na halalan. Okay? However, campaigning for the good candidate, while that is your personal right, it should not interfere with your teaching. At yan ay isang sinasabi sa atin ng Code of Ethics for Professional Teachers. Okay? You may engage in political debates, political discussions, lalo pa sa mga kasama natin sa Soksay. Hindi pwedeng Soksay teacher ka pero wala kang kamalayan sa nangyayari sa lipunan. Yun nga lang, ibang usapan kapag ikaw ay nangangampanya lalo pa sa loob ng paaralan. Mali yun. Okay? Letter D. The professional teacher is not expected to lead in community affairs in order to not jeopardize her teaching. We don't necessarily expect or require the teacher to lead in every community affair. But domain number 6 of the Philippine Professional Standards for Teachers, na dating ang tawag natin ay the National Competency-Based Teacher Standards or NCBTS. Domain number 6, nandiyan ang community linkages and professional engagement. Pwede po at minsay mas pinagkakatiwalaan pa nga ang guro na mamuno sa community affairs because not only is the teacher expected to be competent but also morally upright. Mahirap magturo ng values kung masyadong marami kang kasiraan sa iyong values. You're not expected to be perfect, definitely not. Wala pong gurong perpekto kahit sa kanyang pagkatao, sa kanyang asal, ngunit inaasahan natin na sa isang guro, medyo konti lang naman yung kanyang mga kasiraan o kapangitan ng kanyang ugali. Okay? The two choices you have left will be letter A and letter B. Letter A, the professional teacher is concerned only with classroom teaching. Alam nating hindi totoo kasi marami pa siyang ibang ginagawa. Ikaw ay advisor, ikaw ay club moderator. Okay? So what is left as the answer is letter B. Effective teaching is the primary duty of the professional teacher. Focus on the word primary. Hindi sinabing only. Pero sinabi, ito ang pangunahin mong trabaho. That's letter B. Number 2, what is the most appropriate tagline for the slogan on cultural diversity, which reads, different roads sometimes lead to the same castle. So nagsimula sa different, magkakaiba, pero napunta sa pareho, which is the same. Take a look at the choices. Cultural diversity, that is different. Okay? Unity amid cultural diversity, yan ang tamang sagot. Yung cultural diversity kasi, different. Pero yung letter B, meron siya noong kasamang component ng question. Different roads, yun yung diversity. Sometimes lead to the same castle, that is unity. Letter B. Next, which of the following is an acceptable initiative conducive to or conducive to the teachers making a difference in the achievement of new generations of the country's youth? Ano raw yung pinakamagandang initiative na pwede mong gawin so that as a teacher, you can make a difference in the, in the youth, in the country's youth? Okay? Ano yung pinakamahalaga sa lahat ng narito? Okay? Meron pong prestige ang pagtuturo. Kahit na marami tayong naririnig na criticisms against teachers, the reality is meron pa ring prestige ang pagtuturo. We are still respected, I'd like to believe. We're not the highest paid in the country, so tanggal yan. Hindi po lahat ng guro ay nag-uniform. Sa basic ed, maraming ganon, pero when you go to college, for example, at sila yung mga LPT, you don't actually expect them to wear the uniform. Ano yung magkakaroon ng pinakamahalagang ambag? That's letter A, which is quality teacher preparation. Okay? Quality teacher preparation is what is going to make a dent or a big impact on the lives of our students. What is the philosophy behind Philippine schools that seek to promote democratic opportunities for all and humanistic education through lifelong learning? Okay. So, when we talk about this, titingnan ninyo yung mga keywords. May lifelong learning, may democratic opportunities. Okay? Yung word na humanistic, parang magmumukha siyang perennialist. However, the perennialist, while it focuses on something like a humanistic education, and it focuses on what is the classical, teaching and emphasizing that we all have a shared humanity, the curriculum should be universal, hindi nangangahulugan automatically na ang focus niya will be democratic opportunities and lifelong learning. Perennialism is related to classical education. Tinuturo yung mga dati na, tinuturo yung mga classics kasi nga timeless. Kaya meron kang No Limit Tangere, kaya meron kang Shakespeare. Okay? The closest answer and the right answer for this one, the best answer, is letter B, which is progressivism. Dahil ang paniniwala ng progressivists, and the father of progressivism is John Dewey, we're not just learning by doing, but you are also not going to stop learning just because you leave school. Hindi naniniwala ang progressivist na ang paaralan ay isa lamang paghahanda para sa realidad o sa tunay na buhay. There are progressivists who view the school as real world or real life itself, pero para sa edad ng mga bata. At totoo nga naman, even if you are in school, even if you are a learner, okay, who is still trying to get your diploma or your degree, nakakaranas ka na ng mga bagay na mararanasan mo rin in the real world. You get to form friendships. You sometimes get into arguments. You negotiate with your group mates on the sharing of work. Okay? So, ang konteksto mo lang, estudyante ka. Pero, marami ka nang ginagawa na makikita at magagawa mo rin in real life. Next, Miss Salvador feels offended by her supervisor's unfavorable comments after a classroom supervision. Miss Miranda concludes that her supervisor does not like her, which Filipino trait is demonstrated by Miss Miranda. Okay? Parang meron daw unfavorable comments. Mga teachers, tatandaan nyo to ha, kayo ay sasabak sa demo teaching. At pag kayo ay naging lisensyadong guru na, araw-araw ay demo teaching. Tandaan nyo yan. Kung nung student teacher kayo, akala ninyo ang demo teaching mo na hinanda mo lahat ng iyong mga Manila paper at kung ano-ano ay mahirap na, at isang klase lang yon, grand demo, iba kapag ikaw na ay totoong guru na. Pag ganap ka ng guro, araw-araw na yan. Okay? And there will be occasions dahil sa dami na makakasalamuha mo, it's not always the case that you will have a perfect presentation. And it is the role of the supervisor to tell you, okay, to tell you where you went wrong, hopefully to improve it, okay, or to improve on it. Ngayon, ang thinking ni Miss Miranda, nung siya ay nakatanggap ng napakapangit na comment, ang tingin niya kagad dun sa tao ay siya raw ay hindi gusto nitong taong to. That is extreme personalism. Pinepersonal, which is wrong. Okay? Among important characteristics for successful teaching, which connotes physical vigor, energy, perseverance, ambition, industry, dami, di ba? Motivation, endurance, purposefulness, speediness, zealousness, and quickness. Okay? So, alin dito yung mga characteristics na yan? Perhaps you're emotionally stable. Okay? But which of them is related to emotions? Physical vigor pa lang, parang X na agad. Refinement? Maybe may refinement, pero wala kasi rito on social graces, on values, on being able to relate well with people. So maglalaban na lang ang reliability at ang drive. When a person has industry, masipag. When a person has perseverance, okay? When a person is zealous, pwede nating masabi ay mapagkakatiwalaan natin yan, maaasahan natin yung taong yan. That person is reliable. However, paano naman yung ibang characteristics? Motivation, may ambition sa buhay, zealous, masigasig, in short, that will, I guess, relate more with letter C, which is drive. So kapag nag-analyze kayo ng questions, may mga choices na parang, ay, applicable siya rito, applicable siya dyan. Pero, hindi nangangahulugan na siya na yung best answer. Okay? So when you take the licensure exams, wag na wag ninyong kakalimutan, okay, na dapat ang inyong mga kukunin, ang pag-iisip ninyo ay, okay, this is a good answer, but which is the best answer? Kung reliability mukhang may tatlo na siya na marerelate, meron bang makakapag-relate sa lahat sa kanila? Okay? You choose the second one. Senior high school students from private schools are supported by the government when they go to private schools by way of what? They go to or they receive support from the government through the voucher system. May scholarship grants ba? Meron po. Pero hindi naman kasi yon galing talaga sa gobyerno. Ito po ay pinopondohan ng school. Free tuition fees, hindi yan totoo. Not in private schools, because in private schools, you have to pay tuition fees. Low tuition fees, it's true for some, but not for all. Okay? Ang meron at ang clue ay senior high school is the voucher system. Next, the concept of globalization came about in recent years because the world has become borderless, primarily due to, and the answer is it because English is used as a medium of teaching? Go to Japan, it's not. When you go to China, it's not used there. Okay? When you go to other countries, for example, Spain, they still use Spanish. Okay? So hindi nangangahulugan na English lahat. Okay? Teacher exchange programs, ilan sa atin, sa dami-dami, sa ilang daang libo ng guro, ilan sa mga guro ang nakapag-exchange programs na foreign? I don't think that's a regular practice. Next, ASEAN integration. Pwede. It talks about the world, or at least a portion of the world, but it does not talk about all the countries. But this is globalization, not ASEANization. Okay? So the world became borderless. We became connected with one another all over the globe through letter C, advances in technology. Tulad ngayon, kung kahit nasan man kayo sa Pilipinas o baka naman may ilan sa inyo nasa abroad, you are connected with us, okay, because of technology. And we don't have to leave the comfort of our homes to be connected. Okay? Finally, teacher says gives importance to wellness, which needs to be developed among learners, individual learners. And so she gives focus on what? Okay? So si teacher says, okay, ang focus niya ay wellness. Etong apat po na ito, ang apat na categories ng Max Scheller's hierarchy of values. Okay? When you talk about the lowest level, that's letter B, which is pleasure values. Ang pleasure values, ang focus lang niya, ano ang magkakapagpasaya sa kanya, ano ang parang makakapagbigay ng tuwa sa kanya, tama man ito o mali. Kunwari, gutom na gutom ka, merong samgyupsalan dyan o kaya maraming chicharon. Pero alam mo na hypertensive ka, may high blood ka at bawal sa'yo yan. Pero dahil gutom ka, you got that one. Okay? That's a pleasure value. Kasi kinuha mo lang kung ano yung gusto mo, pero hindi nangangahulugan na yun ay tama o makakabuti para sa'yo. Ang gusto ni teacher says wellness. When you focus on wellness, when you talk about wellness, what you are looking at is what you call the vital values. Kasi pwedeng makakabuti yan para sa isang tao, pero hindi niya magugustuhan. Pag kinagalitan ka ng supervising teacher mo o ng critic teacher mo, I don't think magugustuhan mo yon. Pero makakabuti siya for you, lalo pa kung kaniyang sabihin o kung kaniyang masabi for you. Okay? Kung ano yung mali mo at paano mo i-improve. Okay? So, well, at the moment, that's it for me for teaching profession and social dimensions. I'm sorry for going a little bit over time, but I'd now like to turn the floor over back to our hosts, ang top 1 na pinakapogi at ang isang kalaban sa top 2 na pinakapogi na si Sir Mark. Okay? Thank you very much, everybody. Sana po ay may natutunan and we look forward to seeing you virtually, okay, not just on YouTube starting next month, but also in our programs here in MetroView Center. God bless you and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Sir Philip, for a very substantial lecture or coaching. So, wala nang patumpik-tumpik pa. Let's go to our next lecturer. So, our next lecturer is a faculty. And tama ba ako, Sir Ainel, you're the director na for research. Ayan. So, please welcome for the curriculum development. Please welcome Sir Ainel Terogo.
Thank you, Sir Mark. Magandang gabi sa ating lahat. Good evening. Maayong gabi ika natong tanan. And we would like to thank you for tuning here in our YouTube and in our Facebook accounts. And don't forget to subscribe. And meron tayong raffle for tonight. So hopefully one of you will get the book, the new book that we're actually preparing so that we can continue our mission of providing quality review so that everyone those who are actually trying to become teachers become licensed professional teachers of good quality and of course of good heart. So again, magandang gabi sa ating lahat. I would be your reviewer for curriculum development or the teacher and the curriculum. And I'm also going to share a little of the philosophies of education. I would like to thank Sir Philip as well for starting this day or this night. And napalali yung trabaho ko kasi we're actually dividing the social dimensions. While Sir Philip is focusing on the social dimensions related to teaching, I will be focusing on the social dimensions related to the bigger scale of things, and that is on the curriculum. Miss Clarissa, please share screen, our PowerPoint for our curriculum development monthly ayuda. Mm-mm. Yan yung tawag namin. By the way, I'm Sir Ayo at your service. I'm actually from the University of San Jose Recoletos, Cebu City. Currently, I'm the director of the Office of Curriculum and Instruction. So again, maayong gabi ka natong tanan. Next slide. So again, our subject for today is on the teacher and the curriculum and philosophies of education. I'm going to tackle also some social science concepts because education is under the social sciences. So we should be knowledgeable also of these concepts. And also, as our subject is on the teacher and the curriculum, if you remembered your journey when you were in college, the teacher and the curriculum subject is always at the near end of your 4-year journey in the college, or for some of our diploma or teacher certification program graduates, your curriculum development class is at the end because curriculum covers everything from knowing about your learners to knowing about yourself as the teacher to knowing about teaching, learning, assessing. It encompasses everything. So therefore, in our subject, the teacher and the curriculum, we would like to review not everything though, but we would like to seamlessly weave everything while looking at the bigger spectrum of things, and that is curriculum. Let's go now to our questions. First, here is a philosophy foundation question. Society will be in harmony if the 5 basic relationships that make up society are lived by correctly. Which Asian philosopher espouses this thought? Sir Ayo, parang hindi ko natatandaan yung mga Asian philosophers ko. Okay, let's use your prior knowledge. Buddha. Ano yung natatandaan natin kay Buddha? We actually see his pictures. Mataba siya, sir. Oo. Pero don't dwell into that. Let's focus on how he was actually closing his eyes and he's trying to meditate. So that is actually good enough already to remember Buddha, that he's into meditation and he's trying to keep himself restrained. Kasi Buddha is more of restraint and also suffering being essential. Suffering essential, harmony, basic relationships, parang hindi connect. Let's go to Confucius. Confucius, ano yung alam natin kay Confucius? Confucius sa teacher. Oo. May relationship na kasi nga teacher and student. Also, if you know more about Confucius, Confucius is actually the teacher also of the royal family. Parang meron ng connection na ating makikita. Dito tayo kay Lao Tzu. Lao Tzu, yan, Chinese. Lao Tzu, Taoism. Ano yung natatandaan natin sa Taoism? Yung yin and yang, di ba? Yung black and white. And it actually is a symbol for balance. And also on the natural scheme of things, that everything will go up and go down. So just remember that, okay? That could be part of harmony. Pero if you get to know more about Lao Tzu is actually focusing more on how we need to go back to things the way they were and to accept whatever it is that nature gives us, because everything that is given should only be used accordingly. So it's not about relationships per se, but merong idea of harmony. Muhammad is actually the prophet who actually spread Islam and is actually the first prophet to be documented. So, Muhammad, Islam, more religious than being societal or being social. So therefore, the nearest answer here, my dear teachers, is Confucius. Next slide, Miss Clarissa. Now, According to Confucius, balik tayo Miss Clarissa, sabi kasi ni Confucius, meron tayong 5 basic relationships and we have to abide by these relationships so that we can continue the harmony or the order of things. Ano yung 5 basic relationships? Let's have a little discussion about this kasi I want us to be reminded as well about how to take care of the relationship that we are in right now. The ruler and the subject, this could be speaking about the government, father and son, elder brother and younger brother, husband and wife, and friend. We continue to have these relationships by respecting the order of things, while the person in charge or the superior has to take care of his or her subordinates. The subordinates have to show respect also to the superior. So we can continue harmonizing with these relationships. So again, the answer is Confucius. Okay? Wag kalimutan si Confucius. Thank you so much, Miss Clarissa. Next slide na po tayo. Next question. Still about the Asian philosophers, and again, an understanding of these Asian philosophers will lead us also to the understanding of why are our curriculums are like these, because we are actually influenced by these philosophers. The best way to rule a people and attain harmony is to lead by moral example, or what the philosopher called supremacy of virtue. Which philosopher says this? Based on our discussion kanina, Buddha is again more into suffering, more into trying to let go of oneself and one's worldly possessions or one's worldly perspective. And therefore, we get to know more ourselves deep down. Confucius, 5 basic relationships, respect of order of things, and there is this leader and this ruled, and there has to be harmony that is to be followed. Lao Tzu naman is naturalness, the yin and yang. Socrates is not Asian, he's actually Greek, and we know him through his text, The Republic. And we get the idea of democracy that we are actually practicing right now from Socrates' ideas before Christ, BC. Ilang taon na yan. By the people, for the people, of the people. That the leader or the ruler should be the people themselves. Now, if we look back at the question, the idea here is ruling the people and attaining harmony. So it's still about ruling the people. So Socrates is already out of the question. Kasi Socrates' idea is again about how the people should be the ruler. Socrates is the teacher of Plato. Plato was the one who actually wrote the Republic. Plato was again influenced by his teacher Socrates, who had liberal ideas about leading. So hindi Socrates. Buddha hindi rin. Lao Tzu again is about naturalness of things. So the correct answer again is Confucius or Confucius. Confucius is actually a romanization of how he was called, Confucius. Fucha is actually our term for teacher. So Kung is his name. So the great master Kung. So Confucius. Next slide, Ms. Clarissa. So if you remembered our discussion kanina, Confucius again wants order of things, and we can continue with the order of things when we follow our assignments, quote unquote, in society. But it doesn't mean that we remain to be ruled, but there are order of things based on your current assignment in society, and that we continue that harmony in society when those who are in power, those who are in the supreme position, will lead by example. And I think napapatanong tayo sa ating gobyerno ngayon, no? It's already your opinion. I also have my own opinion. Kunin natin yung idea natin kay Sir Philip kanina na nakuha natin. But I think you get what I mean, di ba? For us to be able to respect more the people who are on top, they should be leading by example. At yun yung idea ni Confucius. Okay? We have other Asian philosophers here, Lao Tzu. That's also how you could actually spell Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu, Lao Tzu, Taoism. And again, it's about nature and the Tao, the yin and the yang. Han Feizi is about harshness, strict punishment, how to maintain order by providing strict rules in the government. So the answer is, again, Confucius. Sabi nga ni Confucius, if you would like to maintain respect with people, you have to bear with the responsibility. Next na tayo na question, Miss Clarissa. Salamat. These foundations show the chronological development of curriculum. Encircle kaagad the term chronological. And I think we can get an idea there what would be the answer. These are the foundations of education and curriculum. Legal foundation, psychological foundation, philosophical foundation, historical foundation. Next slide tayo, Ms. Clarissa. These foundations, meron din tayong social foundations of curriculum. When we say foundations, from the name itself, foundations, yung pundasyon ng how the education system and the curriculum are being built. And when we talk about the chronological order of things, di ba, we're talking about events that are happening. Therefore, automatic, doon tayo papasok sa historical foundation. So yung tamang sagot is historical. Next slide. Legal foundations about law, psychological foundations about what we know about the human mind and how we learn. Tapos yung philosophical foundations about the philosophies that are actually present or that actually are abound related to education. Pero yung historical foundations about what is happening in the country or in the world and how do we use them to be able to improve and build up the curriculum. So again, tamang sagot is historical. Next question. When teachers conduct a series of evaluations, underline or encircle evaluations to determine the extent of teaching, what must be implemented or what type of curriculum is to be implemented? Assessed, hidden, learned, and taught. With a clue on evaluation so that we will know if what is being taught are learned by the students, I think we know what the answer is. And ang tamang sagot ay, hopefully you're also answering in the chat box. The answer is, of course, letter A. Diba? I think that's already clear. But to give you a little rationalization again, next slide, meron tayong tinatawag na intended curriculum and the unintended curriculum. When we say intended curriculum, yun yung plinano na curriculum. So we start with the written curriculum, and the written curriculum can even be based on the recommended curriculum. It's just that the recommended curriculum is, from the name itself, recommended. So it's not really the intended curriculum, but we can use that as basis of the written curriculum. There are supported curriculum along the way, of course, the use of resources. The supported curriculum will support the taught curriculum, kung ano yung itinuro ng guro at kung sino man yung in charge ng facilitating the teaching and learning of our learners. And of course, there should be alignment with the tested or assessed curriculum to check what was taught. Whereas the unintended curriculum are the recommended curriculum, the learned curriculum, kasi it's possible that what the students have learned may not be what was actually taught to them. Diba? And that's possible. Then meron din tayong hidden curriculum, yung tago na curriculum that they were actually taught even without knowing. So yung tamang sagot, dear teachers, again, is assessed curriculum. Letter A. Very good sa mga nakatama ng sagot. Let's go to the next question. Thank you so much, Ms. Clarissa. In curriculum development class, the teacher asked the students to give an enriched definition of curriculum. So, encircle ka agad, enriched definition, kasi yan yung hinahanap. Which among the following encompasses the true essence of the term? A, curriculum is never ending. Enriched definition, parang pwede naman. Kasi enrich, marami. But it doesn't necessarily follow naman, di ba? If marami, hindi natatapos. Let's check the other choices. Letter B, curriculum is a sum total of all the learning experiences in the teaching learning process. Sum total, marami. But enrich also means marami. Siguro letter B. Letter C, curriculum is a list of subjects. List of subjects, parang napaka-narrow naman the definition of curriculum is just if it's just about list of subjects, di ba? Letter D, list of courses, pareho lang sa letter C. So, I think that's already scrapped out. So, meron na lang tayong dalawang choices, A and B. And I think you'll agree with me that the answer here is letter B, the sum total. Aside from mahaba yung letter B, di ba, meron kayong technique na ganyan, di ba? Yung mahaba na answer, yun yung sagot. So don't forget also to read the actual choices, okay? Let's not be complacent. Let's read the choices and then Let's use our prior knowledge and what we know so we could really check if the answer is correct. Actually, sabi ni Tatay Dewey, next slide. Oo. Si Tatay Dewey naman, actually, Sir Philip also shared about him in progressivism. And speaking of progressivism, it's actually a very progressive idea that curriculum is not just the list of subjects or what is actually being prepared, but curriculum is the sum total, not just of what was prepared in the written form, but also the experiences that students have in school. Kahit na yung pagsuot ng uniform or nung ID, that is part of the curriculum experiences in which they are actually part of curriculum din. Sabi ni Tatay John Dewey. So again, the correct answer is letter B. Next question. Ito, mahirap ito na question if you don't know our curricularists. Considering the curriculum is a dynamic process, this person puts premium in the role of the teacher's participation in developing the curriculum. He, she is. Underline natin yung idea of the role of teachers kasi the question is actually asking sino yung may sabi that the curriculum should be putting premium to the role of teachers. So sino kayang curricularist dito yung ang model niya o yung gusto niya o yung idea niya of curriculum should be starting from the teachers who know the students more. Yung si Sailor at si Alexander, they're actually newer curricularists. They're already in the 21st century. This idea kasi of putting teachers as the curricularist is already an old concept. It's just that we haven't been using it from time to time. And if you have remembered your curriculum development, I think you know Hilda Taba and Ralph Tyler. Hindi sila mamatay-matay sa curriculum development classes kasi their frameworks of curriculum are always being used with schools in a micro or macro setting, or even in the Department of Education and the Commission on Higher Education. If you remember Ralph Tyler, yung idea niya is actually on rational. Kaya nga yung tawag ng model niya, Tyler's rational. Rational means purpose. So we start with purpose. Sino yung nagbibigay ng purpose ng school? Hindi si teacher. Sino yung gumagawa ng purpose? Sino yung gumagawa ng vision mission? Yung administrators. Because they are the ones who would want something out from the school systems that they're actually leading or they're actually creating. So yung tamang sagot is letter C. Next slide po tayo. So if you remembered Hilda Taba, her model is actually inductive. Nagsisimula tayo sa teacher. Whereas yung kay Tyler is actually deductive. Nagsisimula tayo sa administrator. So if focus tayo kay Taba, we start from the teacher. The teacher is the one who's going to create the curriculum, and it will be up to the administrator later on if the process or the framework that the teacher did would be applicable to the entire school. Kaya nga, yung tawag sa model ni Taba is grassroots approach. We start from the grassroots. We start from the teachers. Bakit sabi ni Taba that we should start from the teachers? Kasi the teachers are the ones who actually know more of what the students need, more than the administrators. And because the teachers are the ones who actually know the students' need, therefore we have to develop the curriculum from their perspective, from their point of view, because we will be now creating a curriculum that will be needs-based, that will be based on the needs, that will be based on the relevance to our students. So yung tamang sagot, dear teachers, is Taba. Hopefully, huwag niyo siyang kalimutan. Okay? Hilda Taba, teacher. Next slide. In outcomes-based instruction, the key point is the student's blank. I think this is the last question. Outcomes-based instruction or outcomes-based education is actually a buzzword in the Commission on Higher Education or in tertiary programs. But the basic education or the Department of Education also follows outcomes-based instruction through the terms standards-based curriculum or competency-based curriculum followed by TESDA. So all the agencies of the government focusing on education are all outcomes-based. Now the question is, ano nga yung key point ng outcomes-based? What then are we trying to point out in outcomes-based instruction? A, assessment of his or her own learning. Outcomes-based education, assessment of own learning. Parang hindi yata connect. Pero later, hindi pa tayo sure. Letter B, mastery of lesson. Mastery of lesson, content-based yan na idea. Oo, nandyan pa, unit content. That's actually very content-based and not outcomes-based. Outcomes-based, we focus on what students should really be getting out from the content that was shared. So parang hindi letter B. Letter C, ability to pass written and performance task. Parang pwede ito. Kasi we can show our outcomes based on performance task. Pero merong inclusion ng written eh. Oo. Not all the time. Oo. Kasi if we're going to focus on outcomes-based, dapat it should be more on the performance task. Kaya nga, if we recall also the grading components in the basic education in the K-12, mas mataas yung weight ng performance tasks. Kasi nga, DepEd is also standards-based and outcomes-based. Yung letter D, ability to demonstrate learning. Maganda to. Magandang pagkasabi. Kasi nga, students, if we want to let them show outcomes, they have to demonstrate what they actually have learned. And I think you know where I'm leading. Yung tamang sagot is letter D. Next slide. Kasi nga, in outcomes-based education, we actually measure what the students are capable of doing. Unlike the traditional system that it's more on content, we focus on what students are able to show or able to do. If you look at the second paragraph, we go beyond structured tasks. Therefore, students should be able to demonstrate their learning through skills. There has to be challenging tasks that we have to provide to them so that they will really be able to show outcomes, or we will really be able to squeeze from our students the outcomes expected of the courses or of the curriculum that we are trying to implement to them. Kaya nga, the answer is again letter D. That's it po. And I hope you learned a lot from our session. I'm not sure if I was 15 minutes, but that was the fastest way that I can do. Thank you so much. See you everyone in our regular sessions, and see you also through our virtual platforms. Hopefully, you'll continue to subscribe with us, and please be one with us in our mission to provide the quality review that all our licensed teachers actually are, what do we call this, that they actually deserve. Kaya nga, God bless everyone. Magandang gabi sa ating lahat.
Maraming salamat, Ayo. Maayong gabi. Tama ba sabi ko, Sir Ayo? From Cebu, si Sir Ayonel, mga kaibigan. Siya po yung palawang pinaka-pogi sa akin dito sa Met na to. Sa Met Review Center. At mga kaibigan, sabi nga ni Mark kanina, napakalawang pinaka-pogi sa akin sa Met Review Center. Huwag naman patong pick pa. So my dear friends, ang ating next lecture, sisimulan niya ang ating Gen Ed discussion sa math, mga kaibigan. So math ang ating subject ngayon. Let me present to you isa sa mga kasama ko rin sa UST. Siya yung tingin kong pangalawang pinaka-pogi after Mr. Padilla, mga kaibigan. Let us all welcome Sir Nico Orhena. Sir Nico, siya ka na ba? Sir Nico.
Ayan, sir. Hello, sir. Yan yung gusto kong introduction, sir.
Oo, pangalawa ka lang ha.
Walang UST, sir. Pogi dapat ang introduction. Charot. Okay. Anyway, good evening, everyone. So I'll be doing the lecture for mathematics. No, just want to say this, no, before I begin. No, so please do not forget to like, hit subscribe, and then leave a comment, and also share our live for tonight. Okay, so grabe, parang vlogger na ako, no, guys. Anyway, yon, so continue na tayo because time is very limited. No? So while I'm preparing my slides, can you just type in nakasubscribe din ako sa YouTube. So can you type in there the word subscribe? Yeah, pa-type naman ng subscribe habang nire-ready ko tong slides ko. Come on guys, pa-type ng subscribe. Kita ko yan.
Baka naman pwedeng sub na lang, Nico, nga ba ng subscribe? Baka magkamali pa ako ng spelling. Baka pwedeng SUB niya lang, guys. SUB.
Pwede naman, sir. Kung gusto mong,
SUB. Type na tayo, guys. SUB naman dyan.
Ayan, okay. So, okay naman yung, kita ba siya ng full screen? Tama na, kita naman ng full screen. Ayan, okay.
Kita siya, sir.
Oo, naka-ibang view. Anyway, ayan, sige. So, I'll be starting my...
Ay, Sir Nico, di siya full screen. Parang
I'll be starting my presentation for this evening. Ano nga, slideshow. Wait lang.
Yan.
Anong view ba yun?
Ano siya?
Ito, slideshow. Yan. Full
Yan,
screen
okay
yan.
na.
No, okay na. So pwede na tayo mag-start. So hello guys, I just want to hype up the energy, no? Parang medyo middle na tayo, baka inaantok na kayo. Anyway, I'll be opening the general education review. So ako yung una. So I hope you are excited. And yeah, let's start. Okay? So as always, I emphasize na sobrang madali lang yung math. No, kung lumang subscriber, sabi ni Sir Edward, kung lumang subscriber kayo, lagi ko yan sinasabi kasi totoo naman. 'Di ba? Yung math is concepts from grades 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay? So mga ano yan, mga subjects, mga lessons yan ng mga ano natin, younger siblings o kaya ng mga pamangkin natin yan. So let us start. Okay? So mag-ano lang ako ng pointer para I can write as well. Okay, question number 1. Okay, in how many ways can 3 girls and 2 boys be seated in a row alternately? So for this one, ina-arrange natin sila, no? So sa pagitan ng 3 boys, meron daw 2 girls, no? Minsan ginagawa natin yan para yung class natin wag maingay, no? So ang arrangement nila parang ganito, no? So you have boy and then girl, and then boy and then girl and then boy, no? So ilang ways mo sila pwedeng ma-arrange diyan. So pwedeng si boy number 1, then followed by girl number 1, si boy number 2, then followed by girl number 2, and then si boy number 3. Kaso i-mix up mo pa siya, 'di ba? So this is a matter of arrangement. And for arrangement, we use permutation, no? So I hope you still remember that. Pero basically kapag nag-arrange tayo, ginagamit natin yung formula ng factorial, no? So sample lang bago ko siya i-push through, no? So pwedeng ganito yung example, si boy 1, katabi si girl 1, katabi si boy 2, girl 2, and then B3. So pwede rin namang random yan, si boy 3 yung mauuna, and then si girl 1, and then si boy 1, and then si girl 2, and then si boy number 2. So arrangement siya, matter of arrangement. So madali lang to guys, no? So ang gagawin mo lang dito is para ma-rearrange mo yung boys, gagamit ka lang doon ng factorial, no? So 3 factorial. Yan yung number of arrangements na pwede mong i-sort out yung boys. And then for girls, since dalawa lang sila, 2 factorial naman yon. Pero ang tinatanong dito, arrangement nung magkasama na, no? So, multiply mo lang sila. Okay? So, sir, ano ba yung exclamation point na yan? So, madali lang din yan, di ba? So, it means 3 times 2 times 1. Yan. Okay? And then, for this one naman, 2 times 1. So, decreasing lang siya. No? So, here we have 6 times 2. Which is, anong answer natin? 12. Which is letter D. Isulat ko na lang dito, no? Para kasi medyo nag-scratch na ako dun sa PowerPoint. Anyway, okay, I hope you're getting it, no? So continue na natin to. Okay, next. How many prime numbers are there between 1 to 100? Yan. So my students can answer this, I believe. Anong sagot nyo dyan? Okay, wrong spelling yung mga type nyo ng subscribe. Chine-check ko ngayon, ha? Anong sagot nyo dito? Bilang lang natin to, di ba, yung mga prime numbers. So when you say prime number, you can only multiply it or divide it, rather, by 1 in itself. So ano-ano yung mga numbers na yan? Pwedeng 1. Ay, hindi kasama yung 1, no? So we start with 2. Di ba? 2 can only be divided by 2 and 1, no? So yung dalawa lang. Followed by 3. 5. Yan. 7. Yung 9 hindi kasama kasi divisible yan by 3. Ang susunod ay 11 na, no? 11, 13, and so on. No, hindi kasama yung 15. No, so ngayon, ilan? No, ilan siya from 1 to 100? Ito guys, hindi mo na siya ililista lahat, maubos yung oras mo sa exam, no? So rather, ang gawin mo na lang, keep this in mind, no? There are 25, no? 25, di na naman yung answer natin dito. 25 prime numbers between 1 and or from 1 to 100, no? Yeah, 25. All right. I think I'm not going too fast. I'm just on time, no? Next, what is the LCM of 2, 5, and 7? Pag sinabi mong multiple, yan yung you do skip count, no? Para madali na lang tayo, no? I'm not using technical terms anymore. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, and so on. Yan ang multiples ng 2. Ang multiples naman ng 5, 5, 10, 15, 20. Yan. Skip count ka lang dyan. 25 and so on. And then for 7 naman, 7 ba yun? Tatakpan ng video ko eh. Baba ko lang. Ayan. Okay. So for 7, 7, 14, 21, 28. Type nyo sa chat box yung answer. So pag ganito, kailangan mo siyang ilista, no? Pero not necessarily. Kasi since may choices ka naman, pwede mong i-check on the choices. Okay? So kailangan ma-divide siya ng mga numbers na ito. So yung 15, no? Check mo, divisible ba to by 2 o hindi agad? So x mo na yan, di ba? X. Or add out, no? O next is 35. Hindi rin siya divisible by 2. So hindi na yan kasama. Yung 70 saka 140 pwede. So possible pa yan. No? So for 70 naman, divisible ba ang 70 by 5? So check mo, 70 divide by 2, 35. 70 divide by 5, pwede rin, no? Kahit di mo isolve sa board exam, dapat ganun lang yung ganun lang yung isip nyo. No? Alam ko naman na pwede, pero kahit hindi mo na-isolve kasi mabos yung oras mo. And then 70 obviously, divisible din yan by 7. So answer mo na agad dyan ay letter C. Yan, no? So yung 140 divisible din yan by 2, 5, and 7 pero hindi siya least. Kasi when we say least, maliit or smallest, no? So answer mo dyan ay letter C. Okay, next. Yan, so a ball is drawn at random from a box containing 6 red balls, 5 green balls, and 4 yellow balls. In short, ang daming balls dito. Kailangan mo siyang bilangin. Okay, yung total number of balls. Find the probability that the ball drawn is yellow. So in short, since ang gusto mong mabunot or ma-draw, no, from the bowl, a box pala to this time, from the box is yellow ball, bilangin mo yung number of yellow balls over the total number of balls, no? So or number of favorable outcomes, yung gusto mong mabunot, over total number of possible outcomes, yung mga chances na pwede. So ang sabi dito, meron daw 4 na yellow balls. And all in all, how many yung mga balls dyan? Ilan ba ang mga balls natin dyan? 6 plus 5 plus 4. No? So we have total 15. So in short, 4 over 15. No? Letter A. Yan. Ang dami nagsasagot ng A sa chat box. Thank you for being lively. No? For yan. Okay? Next. Okay? So solve for the dimensions of a cube that has a volume of 64 cubic meters. So this time around, geometry problem siya, no? And for what, diba? Cube is has equal measurements of size, no? Ganyan siya, no? Galing ko mag-drawing, guys. Pinupuri yung sarili. Yung ganyan itsura niyan, di ba? So pare-pareho ng sukat yan ng sides yan. Okay? So ang formula for volume is to multiply the length, the width, and the height. No, in this case, the length, the width, and the height are all the same. So S times S times S ka dyan. So in short, ang answer mo dyan dapat ay obviously A. No, kasi siya lang naman yung pare-pareho eh. Pero pag chinek mo din yan, 4 times 4, 16 times 4, 64 yan. No? Medyo masyado bang mabilis? Kung masyadong mabilis, panoorin nyo to ulit. Okay? Ganon yung gagawin nyo, no? Yan, okay? So let's move forward. Okay? Dapat mabilis lang tayong move on. Okay? Slide number 6. Okay? What is the value of A in the statement 3AB equals 42? So for this one, ang gagawin mo dyan is i-solve it. No? Siyempre, everything you have to solve. No? Algebra yan. So ang equation mo dyan, 3AB equals 42. And then sabi dyan, if B is 2, so palitan mo daw yung palitan mo yung B ng 2. Okay? And then simplify, you have 3, you have 2. So 6 yan, no? Pag minultiply, 6A. Now, how do you isolate or leave A alone? No? Kailangan matanggal yung 6. No? Paano mo matatanggal yung 6? Divide mo lang siya by 6. Yeah. So you get to cancel it out. So 42 divided by 6 is, sabi nyo sa YouTube ay letter D, 7. Yan, okay? So 7 ang sagot. Okay? Okay pa ba? Na ano nyo na ba? Na share, subscribe nyo na ba? Bilangin ko yung nadagdag na subscriber. Yan. Next. Okay. So what are the prime factors of 140? Pag sinabi mong factors, ibig sabihin, pag minultiply mo, 140 yung lalabas. Pag sinabi mong prime factors, dapat prime numbers. Okay? So pag sinabi mong prime numbers, divisible lang siya by itself and 1. So X-an mo na agad yung nakikita mong mga hindi prime number dito, like 4. So X na yung A. No? X na rin yung C. No? So you're just choosing between B and D. So i-multiply mo na yan, Besh. No, ang sagot. Yung B, pag minultiply mo yan, that's 3 times 4, tama? Times 5. So 12 times 5 is, ilan lang to? 60. While this one naman, 4 times 5 times 7 is 20 times 7. Yun. So letter D. Okay? Power of D. Pag-isipan niyo yung mga sagot, wag puro C. Okay? So letter D for this time. Okay? Next. Teka, meron akong ano dito pa timer. Okay, sige. So medyo on time. Okay? Next naman. Okay? So Johnny has, medyo bagalan natin daw kasi medyo may challenge ng konti. Johnny has 54 coins in his pocket. It has 5 peso coins, 2 peso coins, and 1 peso coins. No? So ito, wala nang 2 peso coin ngayon, no? Hindi ko lang sure. Pero naabutan ko pa yan ng ano. Umamin, no, yung mga nakaabot niyan. May 2 peso coin pa before. Okay? Baka ngayon meron, hindi lang siya ginagamit. Check natin sa Bangko Sentral. No? Pero anyway, meron daw siyang 54 pesos yung coins niya. I think merong error dito sa questions na to. 54 pesos yung total worth nung ano niya, total worth nung money niya dito. So it has to be edited. So I think ito yan. How many 5 peso coins does he have? If he has 54 coins. Yan. So tama. Ito is yung worth yan. Has 54 pesos yan. Okay, anyway, I'm correcting it, no? So para alam niyo din, no? So meron daw siyang total of 54 pesos, no, sa kanyang pocket. Pero mixture 'yon ng mga tig-piso, tig-2 piso, saka tig-5 piso. So for this one, for you to arrive with the value of 54 pesos, it's actually the number of coins times how much the coin is worth, no? So, sabi dito, meron na tayong given. Yung 5 peso coins, hinahanap natin. Ilang 5 peso coins daw? Meron na raw siyang 9 pieces ng 1 peso coin and then meron siyang 5 na 2 peso coins, no? So, pagko-computein natin siya, ganito lang, no? So, dito muna tayo mag-focus sa 5 na 2 peso coin. So, magkano to? 10 pesos, no? Pero pwede natin siyang i-write as 5 peso coin times 2 coins. No, ang total niyan ay 54 lahat. Okay? And then naman yung susunod is yung 9 pieces na 1 peso coin. So 9 pieces times 1 peso yung worth niya. Sorry, nagsusulat ako, so I have to. And then the next is we don't know, no? Basta meron siyang 5 peso coins tapos di niya alam. So we leave it as X, no? So we can work this out, no? So computein natin siya. So this will be, lipat ko lang yung yung mga mukha ko nasa ilalim ng screen sa Zoom. Sige, so anyway, yan. So this will result to 5x plus 9 plus 10 equals 54, no? Continue ko lang dito. Sorry. Medyo alanganin ang pagsulat. So 5x plus 19 equals 54 pesos, no? So para ma-solve natin yung x, kailangan isolated siya. So lipat natin sa kabilang side. So ganyan. Okay? So 5x equals 54 minus 19, no? Kasi pag nilipat mo, maging minus na yan. So and then you have 5x equals, ilan na nga to? 35, no? So 35. So similar dun sa A kanina, divide na by 5. cancel. So is 35 divided by 5. 7 pieces of 5 peso coins. Letter B. Yan. Boy this time. Okay, next. Yeah, no, if a die is rolled, what is the probability of getting a number divisible by 3? So similar to sa probability question kanina, no? So number of favorable outcomes divide by total number of possible outcomes, no? So ano-ano bang number sa dice ang divisible by 3? No? So pag inisip mo, number divisible by 3, eh di ba ang die ano lang siya 1 2 3 4 5 6. So 3 and 6 lang ang divisible, no, by 3. So meron lang dalawa, no? So total niya is 2. Yung total number of possible outcomes naman, pwedeng 1 ang lumabas, 2, 3, 4, 5 hanggang 6. So total of 6. No? So ang probability na makuha mo yung die ay divisible by 3 is 2 over 6, or in short, when simplified is 1/3. Yan, okay? So anong letter ang 1/3? That is letter, yan mga kapatid. Letter yay daw, sabi ni Sir Edward. Nakasagot siya. Sumasagot ka, sir. Yan, so letter C. Okay? Alright, okay, next. Yan, so what do you call two angles whose degree measures are congruent or equal, no? So ito definition of terms lang, no, pero lumalabas pa rin siya sa board exam, no? When you say adjacent, ibig sabihin niyan magkadikit, no? Or put together, anong Bisaya na magkadikit? They are joined together, no? Yan, ganyan. So ang itsura niyan, mga ganyan. Adjacent yan. So, nakita mo yung dalawang angle, angle A saka angle B. No? So, yan ay adjacent kasi magkadikit, no? O pwedeng adjacent, no? Pag sinabi mo naman na vertical, ibig niyang sabihin parang scissors, no? Magka-X yan. So, ganyan. Yan. Angle A and angle B. Magkaano naman sila, no? Shing, ganyan, okay? And then when you say supplementary, ang sum naman yan dapat ay 180. Hindi kailangan magkadikit para maging supplementary. So pwedeng meron ka dyang 50 degrees, o sabihin na lang natin 30 degrees. Tapos yung isang angle mo dito naman ay 150. No, supplementary yan kahit hindi magkadikit. Pwede rin naman magkadikit. No, pag magkadikit na ganyan, 60 degrees saka 120 degrees. No, supplementary yan. So ang correct answer dito po ay, mga kasama, ano pong sagot natin? Ay letter D, congruent. Now when you say congruent, pareho sila ng sukat. So kung 40 degrees yan, 40 degrees din. O kaya naman minsan may ano ka lang markings, no? Pag may ganon, ibig sabihin pareho sila ng sukat, no? So that's actually the last one. Mabilis ba? I know, mabilis. Okay, anyway, yeah, thank you so much for listening. I hope you do what I said, no, like, comment, please do subscribe, hit the notification bell, share, and whatever. No, so I'll turn you over to sino na ba yan? Sir Lester, na naka-on ng camera. Hello, sir, tapos na ako.
Hey sir, thank you so much sa lecture mo tonight. Next, so next na agad mula sa Departamento ng Filipino ng University of Santo Tomas. So please welcome Mr. Mark Anthony at Cabanes.
Salamat Sir Mark. So share ko lang po yung aking screen. Medyo maulan na sa amin, no, at malakas ang kidlat at kulog, kaya sana hindi maapektuhan yung connection natin, no, para tuloy-tuloy ang pagkatuto. Ayan. Nakikita na po, no? Yes. So tama po si Sir Mark, no? Ang ibabahagi ko po ay tungkol sa General Education Filipino. Pero bago ang lahat, no, kung estudyante ko na kayo dati o naturuan ko na kayo, no, sa Cebu, sa Manila at saan mang ang bahagi ng bansang Pilipinas, no, isa sa tatak ko ang pagbati ng masayang buhay. So masayang buhay sa inyong lahat para higit na maging masaya buhay ang ating talakayan o pagbabahagi ngayong gabi. Maaari siguro nating gamitin yung ating chat box, no, para kayo ay makiisa, no, sa gagawin nating pagsagot sa ilang mga tanong. So wag din po nating kalimutang mag-share, no, at mag-subscribe sa aming YouTube account. So maraming salamat po. So, by the way, ako po si Ginoong Mark Anthony Jet Cabanes mula sa Universidad ng Santo Tomas sa ilalim ng Kolehiyo ng Edukasyon at nasa ilalim din ako ng ang daming nasa ilalim, no? Nasa ilalim ako ng Departamento ng Filipino. So, muli ako po si Ginoong Mark Anthony Jet Cabanes, LPTMA. Kung hindi pa po kayo nakakatanggap ng ayuda mula sa ating pamahalaan, dito na po kayo, no, sa ayuda ng MET na siguradong mapapakinabangan ninyo at magagamit ninyo lalo na sa panghinaharap. So hindi na po ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa, bagkus ay sisimulan ko na ito. Ako po ay binigyan ng 15 minuto para sa 10 tanong, no, at ipapaliwanag ko po ito ng paano ko ba ito ipapaliwanag? Ng natural lang, no? So sana ay maayos kayo ang inyong kalagayan saan man kayo naroroon. So para sa unang tanong, ito na po, no, kung mas masisiyahan po ako kung makikiisa po kayo sa pagsagot sa ating chat box. Alam niyo na yan, no, sa mga dati kong estudyante. So tanong bilang 1. Sa anong antas ng wika nabibilang ang mga salitang tulad ng paano, musta, meron at san? A. Balbal, B. Lalawiganin, C. Kolokyal, D. Bulgar. Ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa antas ng wika. At kapag sinabi nating antas ng wika, ito ay nahati sa dalawang uri, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na formal at di formal o informal. At sa ilalim ng mga uri na to, meron pa ulit nasa ilalim, no? Ang formal ay nahati sa dalawa, no? Ito ay pambansa at pampanitikan o panretorika. Alam naman natin, no, na ang wikang pambansa ng Pilipinas ay Filipino, no, o tinatawag din itong de facto, no, o lingua franca. At ito ay makikita rin naman, no, sa saligang batas o sa konstitusyon ng 1987, artikulo 14, section 6, no, na ang wikang pambansa ng Pilipinas ay Filipino. So alam natin yan, no, pag sinabi nating pambansa, ang pambansang wika ay Filipino. Samantala meron din tayong tinatawag na pampanitikan o panretorika. Ibig sabihin ito yung mga wikang ginagamit natin sa paglikha, no, ng mga akdang pampanitikan. Pag sinabi nating formal, ibig sabihin nauunawaan ito saan man tayo naroon o saan man tayo ng panig ng Pilipinas naroon. Samantalang ang pangalawang antas ng uri ay tinatawag na di formal o informal. Ibig sabihin may mga tiyak na tao o pangkat ng tao na nakauunawa nito. Sapagkat kung tatalakayin natin yung tinatawag na socio-linguistika, no, isang sangay ng linguistika na kung saan ito ay nakatuon dun sa mga wikang umiiral sa isang lipunan. No, may tinatawag nga rin tayong speech community. At nasa ilalim ng di formal yung mga lalawiganin, regional, dialectal o provincial, yung provincialism, no? So meron din tayong tinatawag na balbal. Pag sinabi nating balbal, ito ay mga salitang kanto, no, o salitang kalye. At karaniwan ito yung mga pinagbabali-baliktad na mga salita. At 'di ba, alam naman natin yung ang isang magandang halimbawa nito yung mga wika na ginagamit o salitang ginagamit ni Mayor Isko Moreno, no? Yung katulad ng etne, yorme, no, mga binaliktad na salita, mga salitang kanto, balbal iyon. Samantalang ang kolokyal ay mga salitang karaniwan ay pinaikli at ito ay karaniwang ginagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay at ito ay hindi sumusunod sa sa gramatika o sa balarila. Samantalang ang Bulgar ay mga salitang malalaswa o mga bastos na dapat bilang mga guro, di natin to ginagamit, no? Huwag tayong bastos, no? So, balikan natin yung unang tanong. So, matapos nating ipaliwanag ang antas ng wika, ano ngayon ang tamang sagot? Ito ba ay balbal, lalawiganin, kolokyal, Bulgar? So siguro nakapag-type na kayo ng inyong sagot sa ating chat box. Tama, ang paano, musta, meron at saan ay mga pinaikling salita na karaniwang ginagamit natin sa pang-araw-araw na pamumuhay. Sa makatuwid, ang tamang sagot dito ay titik C, no, kolokyal. Mahusay. Magbati sa inyong lahat. Syempre naman, no, syempre. So dumako tayo sa tanong bilang 2. Huwag makisama kay Zoilo, no, dahil buhaya siya. Ang salitang buhaya ay tumutukoy sa kahulugang A. Konotatibo, B, denotatibo, C, pampanitikan, D, etimolohiya. So kung mapapansin natin, ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa pagpapakahulugan. So siguro ang naisip natin dito, ang sagot ay pwedeng A or pwedeng B, no? Yan naman talaga yung common, no? Yung konotatibo at denotatibo. Pero kung papansinin natin, yung salitang buhaya ay ginamit hindi bilang literal na pagpapakahulugan, no? Ibig sabihin parang ikinabit ito sa katangian ng isang tao na parang ayaw malalamangan o di kaya naman siya yung laging nanlalamang o di kaya naman gahaman sa Kim, no? So sa makatuwid, ang buhaya dito ay nangangahulugang konotatibo. Okay? So letter A ang tamang sagot. So tandaan natin, no, pag sinabing konotatibo, minsan yung mga salita ay malayo dun sa literal na kahulugan. So may talinhaga. Samantalang pag sinabi nating denotatibo, nagsisimula sa letter D, direkta o diksyonaryo, sapagkat ang kahulugan sa denotatibo ay literal, direkta o karaniwang nagmula sa diksyonaryo. Okay? Sana ay nauunawaan nyo. Kung nauunawaan nyo nga yan, mga ma'am at sir, no, saan man kayo naroon, no, siguro lagay natin sa ating chat box, syempre. So, isi-shoutout ko lang din po pala, no, yung mga estudyante ko mula sa UST, sapagkat nanonood sila, no, yung mga naturuan ko sa Cebu, sa Manila, maraming salamat. At syempre sa lahat ng mga teacher or magiging LPT sa inaharap, no, shoutout sa inyong lahat at maraming salamat sa pakikinig. So, tanong bilang 3. Bahagi ng pananalita na nagpapahayag ng kilos, galaw at pangyayari, ito ay A, pandiwa, B, panghalip, C, pangalan, D, panguri. Ang tanong ay tungkol sa bahagi ng pananalita o sa wikang English, tinatawag na part of speech, no? Pansinin natin na ang susing salita sa tanong ay kilos, galaw, pangyayari. So kung ang mga susing salita ay kilos, galaw, pangyayari, anong uri ito ng bahagi ng pananalita? Mahusay, ang tamang sagot dito ay pandiwa, sapagkat ang pandiwa ay mga salitang kilos o aksyon o galaw, no? Samantalang hindi panghalipian, sapagkat ang panghalip sa wikang English ay pronoun, no? Panghalili sa ngalan ng tao. Pangalan ay noun sa English, no? Karaniwang ito ay ngalan ng tao, bagay, hayop at iba pa. Samantalang ang letter D ay panguri o sa wikang English tinatawag na adjective, karaniwang nagbibigay ng paglalarawan, no, sa pangalan at panghalip, no? So ang tamang sagot dito ay letter A, no, pandiwa. Dumako naman tayo sa tanong bilang 4. Kapapasok pa lang niya sa bulwagan nang ako ay dumating. Ang pandiwang kapapasok ay nasa aspektong A, perpektibo, B, perpektibong katatapos, C, imperpektibo, D, kontemplatibo. Ang paksa naman na ito o ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa aspekto ng pandiwa, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na perpektibo, perpektibong katatapos, aspektong imperpektibo at kontemplatibo. Para mabilis nating maalala, no, itong mga aspekto ng pandiwa, tandaan natin yung acronym na PIC. Okay, no, PIC. Past, present, and then future, no? Ang ibig sabihin ng P, perpektibo, past, no? Tapos na. Imperpektibo, ibig sabihin naman nito ay present, no? Yung aksyon ay kasalukuyang ginagawa. Kontemplatibo, letter K, no? Future, hindi pa nangyayari. Pero sa tatlong ito, may kwento to, no? Sa tatlong ito, maaga kasing nag-asawa si aspektong perpektibo. At dahil dyan, nagkaanak siya ng aspektong katatapos. At ang ibig sabihin ng aspektong katatapos, tapos na yung kilos, pero ang kaibahan nito sa perpektibong, sa aspektong perpektibo ay katatapos lang nung kilos, no? Kaya naman, ang palatandaan para masabi natin na ito ay aspektong katatapos, karaniwan ito ay nagsisimula sa panlaping ka at ang unang pantig ng salitang ugat ay inuulit, no? Balikan natin yung tanong. Kapapasok pa lang niya sa bulwagan ng ako ay dumating, ang pandiwang kapapasok ay nasa aspektong, anong sagot ninyo mga ma'am at sir? Tama, no? Ang tamang sagot dito ay letter B, perpektibong katatapos, no? Bakit? Sapagkat ang kapapasok ay salitang nagsisimula sa panlaping ka at inuulit ang unang pantig ng salitang ugat, no? Ano bang salitang ugat sa kapapasok? E di pasok, no? Pasok, inulit yung unang pantig na pa. So ito ay perpektibong katatapos lang ng kilos. Okay? So dumako na tayo sa tanong bilang 5. Pag-aaral ng mga tuntunin sa pagbabaybay ng mga salita ay A, ponolohiya, B, ortografiya, C. Morpolohiya. D. Semantika. Okay. So anong susing salita sa tanong? Pagbabaybay. Sa wikang Ingles, no, ito yung pag-i-spell o spelling. Hindi lang sa wikang Ingles mayroong standard sa pag-i-spell. Sa wikang Filipino, meron din tayong tuntunin, no, kung paano isulat ang salita sa Filipino. Kaya naman, ang tamang sagot dito ay mahusay. Letter B, ortografiya. Ang gabay sa ortografiya ay tinatawag ding palatitikan. No? Pag sinabi nating palatitikan o gabay sa ortografiya o ortografiya, dito natin pinag-aaralan yung mga tuntunin sa pagbabaybay o pag-i-spell o kung paano sinusulat ang mga salita sa Filipino. Hindi lang wikang Ingles ang may standard pagdating sa spelling. Meron din ang wikang Filipino. Bakit hindi letter A, letter C, letter D ang sagot? Sapagkat alam naman natin yung mga natira ay mga sangay ng linguistika na ang phonolohiya ay tumutukoy sa pag-aaral ng tunog. Ang morpolohiya ay tumutukoy sa kung paano nabubuo ang mga salita. Maaaring ito ay mga panlapi o di kaya naman ay mga salitang ugat. Ang semantika ay nakatuon naman sa kahulugan. Okay? So, sana nauunawaan ninyo ang tamang sagot sa bilang 5 ay ortografiya. Tanong bilang 6. Uri ng pagsasalin na tumutukoy sa lahat ng dokumentong hindi pampanitikan, tulad ng brochure, pamphlet, manual at iba pa. Sa pagsasaling ito ay hindi rin mahalaga ang estilo basta ang nilalamang impormasyon ay maisalin ng hindi nababago mula SL tungong TL. O mga mamatsir, ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa translation or sa wikang Filipino, pagsasalin. Pansinin nyo rin po na hindi ko to tinawag na pagsasaling wika sapagkat nakasanayan kasi natin iyon. Sa totoo lang, ang paggamit ng pahayag o salitang pagsasaling wika ay redundant. No? Redundant iyon. Sapagkat sa pagsusuri o pagsasaliksik ni Virgilio Almario, no, dating commissioner ng KWF, kasalukuyang national artist, no, sinabi niya na hindi na dapat pang tawaging pagsasaling wika ang pagsasalin, no? Sa makatuwid ang tama ay pagsasalin sapagkat redundant nga ang dahilan. Ano yung pinakaano, no? Sa pagsusuri niya sa unang diksionaryong nalimbag na sa Vocabulario de la Lengua Tagala, ang pagsasalin mula sa salitang salin, no? Ang salin naman ay mula sa transladar. Ang transladar ay paglalapat, no, ng salita para sa salitang nasa ibang wika. Okay, balikan na natin yung tanong, no? Dagdag kaalaman lang naman iyon. So, ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa uri ng pagsasalin. So, kung mapapansin natin, hindi raw pampanitikan. Sa makatuwid, tanggal na si letter A. No? Tanggal na si letter A. So, ang pagpipilian na lang natin ay B, C, D. Pero sinabi rin dito na sa pagsasaling ito ay hindi mahalaga ang estilo. Basta ang nilalamang impormasyon ay may sali na hindi nababago mula SL tungong TL. So ang tamang sagot dito ay pan-technical sapagkat ang pagsasaling hindi pampanitikan ay karaniwang matatawag na pagsasaling pan-technical. Okay, katulad ng mga brochure, pamphlet, manual at iba pa. So sir, ano naman kaibahan ng pagsasaling pan-technical sa pagsasaling scientifico? Ito ang kaibahan nila. Pag sinabi natin pagsasaling pan-scientifico o scientifico, ito ay purong agham. Okay, purong agham. Samantalang pagsasaling pan-technical ay applied na agham. Okay? So, sana naintindihan nyo yan. Eh, baka may magtanong, sir, ano ba yung SL at TL na tinutukoy mo dyan? Ang SL at TL ay mga mahalagang elemento na dapat mayroon sa pagsasalin na hindi yan mawawala. SL, simula ang lengguwahe o sa wikang English tinatawag na source language. Ang TL naman ay tinatawag na tunguang lengguwahe o sa wikang English tinatawag na target language. Magbigay tayo ng halimbawa. Halimbawa, ang SL mo ay English. And then itatawid o isasalin mo sa TL na Filipino. Okay? So, ang SL ay English, ang TL ay Filipino. So, halimbawa lamang iyon. Okay? So, dumako na tayo sa tanong bilang 7. Ano ang salitang ugat ng pinaglabanan? A. Laban. B. Ilaban. C. Labanan. D. Paglabanan. Alam nyo mga mama at sir, bago natin sagutin yung tanong na ito, ano man yung sagot dito, no? Tandaan natin na ilaban lang natin kung ano yung ating mga pangarap. Okay? So sa darating na board exam nyo, kailan pa man iyan, so laban lang. No? Sa makatuwid, ang tamang salita o ang salitang ugat ng salitang pinaglabanan ay letter A, laban. So familiar naman tayo, no, na pag sinabi nating salitang ugat, walang halong panlapi, no? Walang halong panlapi. Kung babalikan natin, no, under kasi ito ng tinatawag na morpolohiya. Mayroon tayong tinatawag na dalawang anyo ng morpema, no? Morpemang binubuo ng salitang ugat at pangalawa, morpemang binubuo ng panlapi. At ano ibig sabihin nun, no? Yung morpemang binubuo ng salitang ugat ay kilala bilang malayang morpema. Bakit tinawag na malaya? Sana all malaya, no? Kasi malaya kasi nakatatayo siya sa sarili niya, no? Ibig sabihin may kahulugan na siya, no? Katulad ng salitang laban, may kahulugan na 'yan. Samantalang ang morpemang binubuo ng panlapi ay tinatawag naman na di malayang morpema. Bakit? Di malaya kasi hindi niya kayang tumayo sa sarili, no? Walang kahulugan o karaniwang walang kahulugan hangga't hindi na isasama sa mga salitang ugat. O mamili ka, malaya ka o di malaya ka. E choice naman natin iyan, okay? So dumako na tayo sa tanong bilang 8. Anong uri ng panlapi ang ginamit sa mga sumusunod na salita? Binilad, sinampay, at tiniklop, no? Para matukoy natin kung anong uri ng panlapi ang ginamit sa mga salitang iyon, no, yung binilad, sinampay, at tiniklop, kunin natin ang salitang ugat. Sa salitang binilad, ano ang salitang ugat? Bilad. Sa sinampay, sampay. No? I-type nyo ang inyong sagot, mga mama at sir, tiniklop. Tiklop, okay. Sa makatuwid, matapos nating kunin, no, yung salitang ugat, ano ang mga natira? Ang mga natira ay tinatawag na mga panlapi. So, nasaan sila? Ano yung posisyon, no? Saan posisyon naroon yung mga panlaping iyon? Sa binilad, in. Sa sinampay, in. Sa tiniklop, in. Sa makatuwid, ang panlaping ginamit dito ay, tama, mahusay, gitlapi. Okay, so tandaan din natin na pag sinabing unlapi, yung letter A, ang panlaping makikita sa unahan. Kaya nga, unlapi, unahan. Gitlapi, gitna. Hulapi, hulihan. Meron pang tinatawag na kabilaan, una at hulapi. At ang laguan naman ay makikita sa una, gitna, at dulo. Okay? O hulihan. Okay? Sa puntong ito, ang tamang sagot ay letter B, gitlapi. Sapagkat ang mga gitlapi, ang mga panlapi makikita sa gitna. So, dumako na tayo sa pang-siyam na tanong. Alin ang katumbas ng temporal communication? A. Vocalics, B. Chronemics, C. Haptics, D. Kinesics. So, ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa komunikasyon. Alam naman natin na ang komunikasyon ay nahati sa dalawang uri, komunikasyong verbal at komunikasyong di-verbal. Ang vocalics, chronemics, haptics, kinesics, no, at marami pang iba ay kabilang sa tinatawag na mga di-verbal na komunikasyon. Sa makatuwid, tingnan natin kung alin ba ang katumbas dyan ng temporal communication. So, narito ang ilang mga uri ng komunikasyong di-verbal. So, pahapyawan natin ng sandali, no? Kinesics, ibig sabihin, ginagamit natin ng ating katawan, no? Partikular na ang kamay, sa pakikipagkomunikasyon nang hindi nagsasalita. No? Ibig sabihin, totoo naman yan bilang guro, di ba? Minsan gumagamit tayo ng kamay o katawan, and then ito ay nagbibigay na, no, ng kahulugan, no, o may mensaheng ng nais iparating. So halimbawa, ang ang thumbs up, no, may kahulugan na 'yan, no, ang pagkumpas ng kamay at marami pang iba, no, ang paggamit ng kamay, katawan, so kinesics iyan. So oculesics, ito naman ay sa mata, no, galaw ng mata. 'Di ba bilang mga guro, dati naalala niyo ba kapag tayo ay dinilatan ng mata ng ating mga guro, tatahimik na tayo. Ngayon, lumuha na yung mata, parang wala pa rin, no? Hindi ko sinasabing lahat, no, pero ang mata ay maraming nais itong mensaheng nais iparating, no? Karaniwan ay sabi nga ito'y bintana ng ating kaluluwa. So ang pagkindat ay may mensaheng nais iparating. Proxemics or proxemica, no? Distansya, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na intimate, personal, social, and then public. So, pictics naman, ekspresyon ng mukha. Ang pagsimangot, syempre, may mensahe ng nais iparating yan. Ang pagngiti, no? At ang marami pang iba. Haptics, pandama o paghawak, o di kaya naman ay paghipo, no? At marami pang paghaplos. Iba pa. Para-language naman sa paraan ng pagbigkas, no, yung pitch, volume, no, intonation, at marami pang iba. Vocalics naman, ito ay mga di-linguistic kong tunog, katulad ng buntong hininga. Okay, sabay-sabay nga tayo magbuntong hininga. Parang ang sarap eh, no? 1, 2, 3. Okay, di ba? Ang sarap, nakaka-relax. Vocalix iyon, no? Yung pagsutsot, vocalix din iyan. So, samantalang ang chronemics naman ay nakatuon sa oras, no? Ang chronemics o ang oras ay tinatawag ding komunikasyong temporal, no? Sapagkat totoo naman iyan, no? Ang oras ay may kakabit din sa pagpapahiwatig, no? O pagpapadala ng mensahe at marami pang iba. Olfactorics, pang-amoy. So, balikan natin yung tanong. Alin ang katumbas ng temporal communication o komunikasyong temporal? So, binanggit na natin kanina yan. Ang tamang sagot ay letter B, chronemics. So, dumako na tayo sa pansampu o panghuling tanong. Ano ang tungkulin ng wika kung ang wika ay ginagamit sa pagpapahayag ng pakikiramay? O, di ba? Makikiramay ka. So, ang tanong na ito ay tungkol sa tungkulin ng wika, no? Tungkulin ng wika sa lipunan, no? Maaaring ganun. A, heuristiko, B, personal, C, interactional, D, informatibo. So, balikan natin muna, no, yung 7 tungkulin ng wika ayon kay Mac Holliday. Sa totoo lang, hindi lang si Mac Holliday ang nagkategorya, no, ng tungkulin ng wika. Bagkus marami na, no. Pero sa puntong ito, dahil ang tanong, ang mga choices sa tanong ay heuristiko, personal, interactional, informatibo. So, ang bibigyan pansin natin ay yung entry, no, o yung pag-aaral ni Mac Holliday sa 7 tungkulin ng wika. So, pag sinabi nating instrumental, no, ang tungkulin ng wika rito ay tumugon sa pangangailangan ng tao. No, ang magandang halimbawa nito ay paggawa ng liham, pangangalakal at marami pang iba. Samantalang pag sinabi nating regulatoryo o regulatory, no, pansinin niyo, pag kayo ay nakabasa ng mga tekstong nagbibigay ng panuto, direksyon at marami pang iba, regulatory yan. Samantalang interactional, ang tungkulin naman ng wika rito, no, ay mapatatag yung tinatawag na yung social na yung pakikipagkapwa natin, no? Paano ba tayo nakikipagkapwa? Marahil tayo ay nakikipagkwentuhan, nakikipagbiruan, nakikiramay, no, at marami pang iba. Personal naman, ginagamit natin ang wika, ang tungkulin ng wika rito ay para tayo ay magmuni, no, o mag-reflect, no, mag-isip-isip at marami pang iba. So, ang heuristiko naman ay sinasabi na ito, ang tungkulin ng wika rito ay ang pangangalap ng impormasyon, no? O pangongolekta ng mga impormasyon. Samantalang ang informatibo, kung sa heuristiko tayo ay nangangalap o nangongolekta ng impormasyon, sa informatibo, ang tungkulin ng wika na ito ay magbigay ng impormasyon. No? Mamili ka. Gusto mo ba ikaw ang kumuha o ikaw ang magbigay? Kapag ikaw ang kumukuha, heuristiko. Kapag ikaw ang nagbibigay, informatibo. Samantalang ang pampito, no, na pampitong tungkulin ng wika ayon kay Mac Holliday, tinatawag na imahinatibo o malikhain. So ano namang ibig sabihin nito? Ginagamit natin yung wika sa paglikha ng mga akdang pampanitikan, no, pagsulat ng tula, etc. etc. Okay? So balikan natin ang tanong. Tanong bilang 10, no, katulad ng kanina, anong tungkulin ng wika kung ang wika ay ginagamit sa pagpapayag ng pakikiramay? O pakikiramay daw, no? Ang tamang sagot dito ay mahusay. Letter C, interactional. Okay? So dito po nagtatapos ang aking pagbabahagi. Kung nais nyo pa po ng iba pang ayuda, no, o nais pa po ninyong madagdagan o maalala ang mga kaalaman tungkol sa Filipino general education, huwag niyo pong kalimutan, no, na i-like at i-click ang notification bell at mag-subscribe na rin. At syempre, i-share nyo ito. So, maraming salamat po. Manatili po kayong ligtas lahat at dalangin ko na maipasa nyo po, no, ang inyong board exam sa darating na panahon. Pagpalain po kayong lahat. Salamat po.
Maraming salamat, Sir Mark Anthony, or as we call him, Kevin. Maraming salamat, Kevin. Ayan. Actually, mga kaibigan, talagang para mga vloggers ng ating mga lectures. Ano? Anyway, mga kaibigan, let's continue. Let's move on. Ang ating next speaker naman ay mag-discuss about science. Mga kaibigan, straight from Cebu. Ang aming expert pagdating sa dengue, mga kaibigan. At Sir Ryan, siya ka na ba? Let us all welcome Sir Ryan Imbong. Sir Ryan?
Hello, good evening sa lahat.
Hi, Sir Ryan. Kamusta ba sa Cebu? Maayong gabi.
Sa lahat po ng nasa YouTube live.
Ayan. O Sir Ryan, go
yes
na.
Po. Sige, go po. Miss Clarissa, can you show us the PowerPoint?
Ayan. So habang inaayos ang PowerPoint ni Sir Ryan, dapat 'di ba mag-subscribe sila at mag-like ng ating YouTube account, ano, na ating
yes
YouTube
po.
channel.
So for now, meron na po tayong mga almost 500 subscribers.
Yes, sana nga mag-1,000 tayo with end of the week, Sir Ryan.
Nasa YouTube live po, kindly share and share the feed to your friends and then let them subscribe to Met Review Center.
Yan.
Okay.
Salamat, Sir Rat. Take it
Uh,
away po.
yes, po, we have limited time. So without further ado, let's start. So kindly flash the first question. Okay, this one. So the very hot gas of nuclei and electrons is called A, magma, B, mitochondria, C, bioluminescence, or D, plasma. So for this particular question, the answer here would be letter D, plasma. So plasma is actually the fourth state of matter. So currently we have actually five state of matter. No, so you have solid, you have liquid, you have gas, and then plasma. And the latest one, the fifth state of matter, is the Bose-Einstein condensate. But for this particular state of matter, your plasma is actually a superheated matter, no, in the form of gas that eventually forms an ionized gas that can conduct electricity. So that's our plasma, no, the fourth state of matter. Next question, we have this one. Question number 9. The molecules that contain an organism's genetic makeup is called blank. So we have these particular options. So A, genetic membrane, B, nucleic acid, C, nucleolus, or D, cytosol. So for these particular options, you have there several cell characters and organelles. So for letters C and D, nucleolus and cytosol, those are actually organelles. And these are made up of molecules. No? So therefore, we are looking for molecules, so C and D are out of the picture. No? So when you go to letter A, genetic membrane, there is no such thing as genetic membrane. We only have nuclear membrane or the plasma and cell membrane. No? So for this particular question, therefore, our answer should be letter B, nucleic acid. Bear in mind that for life forms, we have four macromolecules. So you have carbohydrates, you have proteins, you have nucleic acid, as well as fats and lipids. So for this particular question, now we are looking for the nucleic acid, which comprise now the genetic makeup of all life forms on the planet Earth, which is known as the DNA, or the deoxyribonucleic acid. Okay, so next question, we have number 22. So grass can produce by asexual means through extending structures called runners. So which of the following is the part of the grass family? So we have A, mushroom, B, green algae, C, bamboo, D, ferns. Now, bear in mind that the grass family belongs to a bigger group known as the kingdom plantae. So basically, we are looking for a plant. When we try to go into our options, we would notice that A and B are not plants. So a mushroom belongs to the kingdom fungi, which is not plantae. No? Your green algae belongs to the kingdom protista, which is also not plantae. And C and D, these two are organisms that belongs to the kingdom plantae. However, when you go to ferns, these are not grasses. No? Ferns or belonging to the bigger group, Pteridophyta, are essentially those plants without the fruit, no? Or the flower it themselves. So when you go to bamboo, bamboo is under the class Liliopsida, or we can simply call them as monocots. No? And monocots are a bigger family which encompasses the grass family. So for this particular question, your grass family here is letter C, a bamboo. Now, what's the difference between a monocot and a dicot? So when you try to look at their trunks, no, you would notice that almost always your dicots have bigger trunks because these particular dicots have what you call secondary growth. No? When you go to the monocots, they do not have this particular secondary growth or widening of the trunks. Therefore, you would notice also that our bamboos will have very slim trunks compared to our trees. No? And trees now are our dicots or the dicotyledons. Next question, we have question number 23. So which protist can cause dysentery? So you have A, Plasmodium vivax, B, Gorilla berengii, C. Streptococcus, or D. Entamoeba histolytica. So here we are looking for a particular pathogen that can cause dysentery. No? So for these particular choices, these are actually the scientific names of several organisms. So letter A here, the Plasmodium vivax, is a pathogen that is known to cause malaria. No? So for this particular pathogen, we have approximately 4 species of them: Plasmodium vivax, the ovale, malariae, and falciparum. No? So this does not cause dysentery, but they cause malaria. When you go to B, Gorilla beringii is actually the scientific name for gorillas. No? And gorillas are not disease causing, so they are not pathogenic. When you go to C, Streptococcus are actually eubacteria, or what you call true bacteria. No? So Streptococcus can be found naturally in the skins of humans as well as in the soil or in the air. No? They can only be pathogenic, or they can only cause diseases if, for example, the human is immunocompromised. No? But naturally, Streptococcus is a natural inhabitant of the human skin, and naturally also they do not cause diseases. When you go to letter D, the Entamoeba histolytica is actually a protist, no? Or a protozoa that can cause dysentery. So this is what we are looking for. So Entamoeba histolytica is a protist that can usually be found on piggeries. No? They inhabit the pig's feces, and therefore, when your water is being contaminated with pig feces, then that would eventually cause dysentery. No? So if you also try to look at our choices, since these are scientific names, you must bear in mind that there is a proper way of writing scientific names. No? So for this particular examples, all of them are actually written in not formally written, no, for a particular scientific name. So bear in mind that in a scientific name you have two particular terms, no, binomial nomenclature. The first term is the genus of that particular organism. The second word or term is the species epithet of that particular organism. So for the genus, or for the first term in your scientific name, the first letter of the genus should be capitalized. So for example, your Plasmodium, the letter P there should be capitalized. And then your second term, all of them should be in small caps. So this is correct eventually. And if you are writing it on a paper, no, without using any computers or stuff, if you're writing them, you should put an underline, no, under the genus name and under the species epithet. And that particular line should not be connected. No? You should have two lines, one for the genus and one for the species epithet. Or if you are using your laptops, no, typing in your scientific names on your computer, then you can put underlines. However, you can also italize the two terms. No? So it can either be italized or you put an underline on it. And the first letter of your genus name should be capitalized. Okay? So the answer for this particular question is letter D, Entamoeba histolytica. Next question, we have question 49. So what are the small hair-like structures that serves as sensory function in eukaryotic cells? So you have A, actin filaments, B, cilia, C, plasma membrane, or D, centromere. So this particular question, our answer should be letter B, cilia. No? So for cilia, these are outgrowth or projections of the cell membrane of a particular cell, most especially for our unicellular organisms. So if you have cilia, no, or flagellum, no, for any other organism, these are projections of the cell membranes that are used to get food, no, for use for sensory perception of the environment, or for getting stimulus from your environment. No? So basically, your cilia is a sensory organ of unicellular organisms. Your actin filament, on the other hand, these are actually skeletal frameworks of the cell that are very abundant below your cell membrane, and they function for cell-to-cell movement. They are also functioning for cell support, as well as determines the cell shape. When you go to plasma membrane, this is the first defense mechanism of unicellular organism with respect to the environment, because this is the boundary between the inner portions of your cell and the outer environment. So basically, your plasma membrane is very, very important, and it is a primary characteristic of all cells. So no cells, or every cells rather, have plasma membrane. And then you have centromere. This is actually a particular region in your chromosome, on the central portion, which connects two particular sister chromatids. So when you say sister chromatids, these are actually chromosomes that are copy of one another. So if you have two copies of a particular chromosome, if they are attached at a center at a certain region, then that particular region there is centromere. Okay, so for this question, we have letter B, cilia. Next question, we have number 53. So dengue is an infectious disease transmitted by an organism classified under which phylum? So you have A, Echinodermata, B, Hemichordata, you have C, Chordata or chordate, and letter D, Arthropoda. So for this particular phylum, our answer here should be letter D, arthropods or arthropoda. So dengue or the dengue virus is actually transmitted via a mosquito vector. These mosquitoes are what we call as the Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. And all mosquitoes are grouped under your class Insecta, and your class Insecta is grouped in under a bigger phylum, which is now our arthropods. And arthropods is, or the arthropoda is the largest phylum, animal phylum currently. So next question, we have question number 54. So sound will travel fastest in blank. So you have A, plastic, B, air, C, water, D, solid. So here, we're actually looking for a state of matter. So sound travels in the form of waves, and your waves travel fastest in the solid state of matter. Why? Because the arrangement of molecules in a solid state is actually very compact. Therefore, your waves can travel and transfer itself from one molecule to another the fastest way, because there is no distance between and among the molecules in a solid state. So for this particular question, your answer should be letter D, solid. Next question, we have number 70. So what type of asexual production occurs when a new organism develops from an outgrowth as exemplified by corals? So A, sexual reproduction, B, budding, C, fission, or D, fertilization. So take note, in our question, you have their outgrowth. And this particular outgrowth is actually referring to a bud. So for this particular question, we are looking for letter B, budding. When you go to A and D, seemingly these are actually similar, because fertilization is a mode of sexual reproduction wherein there is genetic recombination between two different individuals, and then your male and female gametes would eventually um, unified, in a particular process, and then an embryo would be created. But in this particular scenario, we are looking for the outgrowth. So meaning there is a small bud coming outside or coming at the side of the parental organism, and eventually this bud would eventually grow in time and would detach from the parental organism to become an independent organism. So in this particular scenario, there is no genetic recombination. Therefore, your budding is a mode of asexual reproduction. Okay. So for the next question, we have question number 87. So unlike eukaryotic cells, prokaryotes have blank. So our choices are A, endoplasmic reticulum used for protein synthesis, B, nucleic acids found inside the nucleus, C, mitochondria that participates in cellular respiration, or D, genome that is located in the nucleoid. So what's the difference between a eukaryotic and prokaryotic cells. No? For prokaryotic cells, they do not have the nucleus. And for the eukaryotic cells, they have this particular nucleus or nucleic organelle. No? So in this particular question, the answer here should be letter D, that the genome of prokaryotic cells are found in the nucleoid. So your nucleoid is a region in your cytoplasm as to where the genetic material of your prokaryotic cells are found. No? Because they don't have the nucleus, no? They don't have the nuclear membrane to protect the genetic material, they have this particular region in their cytoplasm known as nucleoid, no, to protect their genetic material. So answer here should be letter D. When we go to the next and the last question, no, number 89, the question here is about DNA damage. No? So damage to DNA that is not repaired and then replicated can result in genetic disorder. This demonstrates blank. So A, embryology, B, mutation, C, speciation, or D, pathology. So for A and D, embryology and pathology, these are actually branches of sciences that deals with diseases and the development of an embryo. So these are not actually what we are looking for. What we are looking for is letter B, mutation. Because simply, by definition, your mutation is a change in the nucleotide base of your DNA. So your DNA is comprised of three particular molecules. So you have nucleic acid forming the nucleotide bases of your DNA. You have phosphate group, which connects your nucleotide base with your skeletal framework. And this skeletal framework is composed of a carbohydrate. So for this particular scenario, your mutation occurs on the nucleic basis of your DNA. For example, if you have a letter A, which is changed to letter C, then that is simply mutation. So bear in mind, a change in your DNA basis is mutation. However, if your change in the basis would be inherited by several progeny or several sons and daughters of a parent, and that particular generation would also donate those mutations to the next generation and to the next generation and to the next, that mutation is now deemed fit by the environment, and that mutation would now become what you call evolution, or particularly a cause of speciation to occur. And speciation now is actually producing new species because of mutation. But bear in mind, our question only refers to a damage of the DNA. So this is on the molecular level. Therefore, we are looking for letter B, mutation, and not speciation. So I think that's all. That's all of the questions for the natural sciences. I hope you got some ideas from our questions, and thank you for listening. Sir EJ, back to you.
Maraming salamat, Sir Ryan. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Sige po.
Ayan, salamat. At by the way, Sir Ryan is from Cebu. Sir Ryan, ba't mo naman sila ng sa inyong, paano ba, maayong gabi?
Ay, maayong gabi sa tanan. Sa mabugnaong gabi sa tanan kay murag nagdag-om.
Ayan. Now, salamat, Sir Ryan. Now,
po.
mga kaibigan, Sir Mark.
Alright, in-adjust ko yung ilaw ko. Kala ko na langit. Alright. So, ngayon naman, thank you so much, Sir Ryan. Ngayon naman, pupunta naman tayo dun sa last nating lecturer. Siya po ay faculty member ng University of Santo Tomas. Isa po sa pinakaginagalang naming lecturer dito sa USF.
Parang ba natatawa ka, Mark, ha?
Please welcome Sir EJ Padilla.
Hi everybody, magandang gabi. Now before I begin with my with our English discussion, mga kaibigan, ang ating raffle ay mangyayari after our English coaching. So diyan lang kayo, abang-abang lang mga kaibigan para sa ating raffle. And my dear friends, I would like to say that English, among all of the subjects in the board exam for teachers, is the easiest. And whenever I would start my lecture sa aming face-to-face dati at sa online ngayon, I would always reiterate that English is the easiest part of the exam. Lalo na kung napagandaan mo ito. So mga kaibigan, let's do it, my dear friends. But before that, bati ba tayo sa ating mga estudyante o mga nanonood sa ating live? Kamusta po kayo dyan? Magandang gabi. Sana you are in a safe place at sana healthy kayong lahat. Okay? Ate Clarissa, andyan na ba yung PowerPoint or I'll share it myself? Ako na lang po ba? Ako na lang. Okay. Now, kamusta ba kayo dyan mga kaibigan? Ay, ito na, na-share na. Hi everybody. Ayan, let's begin. Number 1, ito, babasahin yung tanong. This is grammar. Sabi niya, the proposed project blank within the budget of the school. Now, if you would think about it, this question is very easy. We have to use the process of elimination. Siyempre, I think letter B and letter C are not any more feasible answers. So we are to decide ito ba ay A, R, or D is. Sige nga, tingnan nyo ang sagot dito, guys. Come on, make me proud, mga kaibigan. Tingnan nyo ang sagot dito. Ito ba ay R or is? This is quite easy. Pertaining to proposed subject, the answer here is letter D. The proposed project is within the budget of the school. So lahat ba nakatama dyan? Actually, my dear friends, like sinasabi sa aking mga hybrid students, dapat ang English perfect natin. Because this is the only test na talagang kayang-kayang i-perfect ang exam. O ayan na. So my dear friends, kung hindi nyo pa nagagawa, pasubscribe tayo sa ating YouTube channel and then palike ang video, pa-share ang link, at syempre hit the notification bell. Okay, how about question number 2? So number 1, ang sagot ay is. How about number 2? This is literature. Sabi dyan, the analects can be attributed to A. Lao Tzu, B. Mao Zedong, C. Confucius, or D. Mencius. Sige nga mga kaibigan, what do you think is the answer here? Tingnan nyo anong sagot dito. Anong mga sagot dito mga kaibigan? Nasa number 2 natin. Anong sagot dyan? Kanino ba ina-attribute ang analects mga kaibigan? Well, in some books, they would say that the analects were written by Confucius. Pero actually, medyo may konting error yun kasi the analects were compiled by the followers of Confucius. Pero in this question, mga kaibigan, the answer is still letter C, Confucius. O, ayan na. O, how about number 3, Ate Clarissa? Ito, this is reading comprehension. Now, my dear friends, if you're able to watch my video about this, meron akong tip sa inyo kung paano ba sagutan ang mga reading comprehension questions. And my first tip is, you must read the question first. O ayan na mga kaibigan, pag may mahabang reading comprehension test, ang unang-unang kailangan gawin ay basahin muna ang mga tanong. Now you would ask me, Mr. Padilla, ba't tanong munang babasahin natin? Well, kasi mga kaibigan, minsan, ang haba-haba ng text, tapos isa lang pala yung question, di ba? So parang mag-aaksya ka ng panahon doon. Pangalawa, my dear friends, pag binasa mo na yung tanong, alam mo na kung anong hahanapin mo. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka na pabalik-balik. Right? So ang tip ko sa inyo mga kaibigan, in answering reading comprehension, my dear friends, basahin muna ang tanong. And in this case, the question ay, this public school teacher gives much importance to her pupils, A. Study, B. Cleanliness, C. Posture, and D. Absence. Ang gawin nyo mga kaibigan, i-scan na lang po natin ang ating text. Kasi syempre, the exam is time-bound eh. So limited ang ating oras. So i-scan na lang natin yan. Pag in-scan mo yan mga kaibigan, yung mata mo, tatama sa cleanliness. Sabi dyan, I wanted them to know that cleanliness of body was good for their health. I inspected their teeth, nails, footwear, and etc. So therefore, my dear friends, in here, the answer is letter B, cleanliness. Ang tanong, mga teachers, kayo ba ito ba yung uso pa? Ito ba ginagawa pa rin sa mga schools? Parang hindi na ata nag-i-inspect pa rin ba kayo ng mga ng mga kuko ng mga estudyante nyo? Well, anyway, Ate Clarissa, next question please. Sabi dito, the reunion was successful because the alumni coming from all different parts of the country were gathered blank in the venue. Now, my dear friends, for the past 2 years, ang question about altogether and altogether ay laging lumalabas. Yung pagkakaiba ng altogether 2 words and altogether 1 word. Now mga kaibigan, sa mga hybrid students 1 and 2, master na nila ito. Sa mga hindi naman nakapag-hybrid, don't worry, papaliwanag ko. The key is actually in its definition. Everybody, tandaan to. Pag sinabi nating altogether, meaning letter B, 2 words, ang ibig sabihin niyan ay sama-sama. So mga kaibigan, parang di makalimutan, itype naman sa ating chat box, sama-sama. Yan. Pag all together be two words, ibig sabihin yan, sama-sama. Ayan, type naman sama-sama sa chat box. On the other hand, my dear friends, pag letter C, all together one word, it means sa kabuuan. So yung malaking difference niya. Pag all together two words, sama-sama. Pag all together one word, sa kabuuan. Now, let us go back to the question. Tingin nyo, yun bang mga alumni, yung mga participants ng reunion ay sa kabuuan or sama-sama? This is so easy. Tama, napakadali. So the answer here is sama-sama. Therefore, the answer is letter B. Tandaan niyan mga kaibigan na sama-sama, altogether, two words. Sa kabuuan, altogether, one word. Huwag kalimutan, lagi lumalabas sa exam ito. So ayan. O next, Ate Clarissa. Sabi dito, the structure collapsed because of blank joints. And in here mga kaibigan, sinusubukan ng PRC, if you know the difference between loose, L-O-S-E, and L-O-O-S-E, loose. Ito mga kaibigan, lagi lumalabas sa exam to. I think every single batch may question about this. Ang tanong, ano ba pagkakaiba dito? And what's the answer? A ba? As in L-O-O-S-E? Or C ba? Actually, ano yan, meron tayong error sa ating options. Yung letter D po, lost po yun. May T po yan. Ito, lost. Ito, dito, lost po yan. Kasi pareho lang silang dalawa eh. Pero my dear friends, ito ang tanong. Ano nga ba ang pagkakaiba ng L-O-O-S-E at L-O-S-E? The answer is simple. Everybody listen carefully. Pag L-O-O-S-E, that word is an adjective. Ito po ay adjective. Ano nga bang Tagalog ng adjective? Ano nga bang? Naku, nakalimutan ko. Ano Tagalog ng adjective? It is pang-uri. Ayun, pang-uri. Pero mga kaibigan, on the other hand, when we say L-O-S-E, ito po ay verb. So, yung pagkakaiba niya, ang L-O-O-S-E, adjective. Ang L-O-S-E, verb. Ngayon, anong ibig sabihin nito? L-O-O-S-E, ibig sabihin adjective, sa Tagalog ay maluwag. On the other hand, ang L-O-S-E na verb, sa Tagalog, ang ibig sabihin ay nawala or natalo. So mga kaibigan, let's go back to the question. Ang sabi dyan, the structure collapsed because of blank joints. Ito ba ay natalo or nawala or maluwag na mga joints? Ayan, ako, make me proud mga kaibigan na you must know the answer to this question. Tama. The answer is letter A. L-O-O-S-E. Maluwag. Oh, ayan na. Oh, next question tayo mga kaibigan. This time, subject-verb agreement po ito. Ang sabi dyan, neither the teacher nor the students blank present in the affair. Now, what are the options? We have were, is, am, was. Now, mga kaibigan, dito, we have to stick by the rules. And what is the rule in terms of using neither nor? Easy. The verb agrees to the closest noun. At mga kaibigan, chatbox tayo, mga kaibigan na chatbox tayo. My dear friends, ano ba yung closest noun sa ating verb? Yung teacher ba o yung students? O type, para naman ma-exercise ang ating mga daliri dyan. Anong nearest sa ating verb o sa blank? Yung teacher o yung students? Ano mas malapit? Mas malapit yung students. O kung students ang mas malapit, ano mas tamang sagot? Is it was or were? Tama mga kaibigan. Since plural yung students, dapat ang sagot ay were. Actually, my dear friends, I think by this time you are now realizing how easy the English test is. Tama? So ang tanong, my dear friends, kaya bang i-perfect ang English test? Of course, kayang-kaya. Kayang-kayang i-perfect ang English test. Okay, Ate Clarissa, next slide tayo. Ito naman ay vocabulary. Sabi dyan, the new company which employed a quality control officer produced first-rate products. The capitalized word means A, mediocre, B, excellent, C, ordinary, or D, simple. Now, my dear friends, kung kayo ay hybrid students at meron kayong MET book, tingin ko dapat alam nyo ang sagot dito kasi sa ating MET book, ito ay actually ang ginawa ko ay I collated all of the vocabulary questions, all of the idioms that appeared in the exam in the last 10 years. At sa bagong edition ng ating libro, ito, very excited na ako, sa bagong edition ng ating libro na lalabas na malapit ang kailangan nyo lang gawin is basahin ito. Pero anyway, ano nga bang tamang sagot dito? First rate. Now, kahapon, tinuro ni Sir Noy sa atin. Teka, nagahang ata ako. Nagahang ba ako? Nag-Shopee po ba ako? Am I back? Kahapon, ang sabi ni Sir Noy, we must eliminate yung mga hindi tamang sagot. And we must look at the options. Mediocre, excellent, ordinary, and simple. Mga kaibigan, alin ba dyan ang medyo kakaiba sa set na ito? Ang mediocre, ordinary, and simple are almost very, very near to each other. Ang kakaiba lang dyan ay excellent. So my dear friends, when we say first rate, ito ay excellent. So the answer is letter B. O, ayan. So far, so good ba tayo mga kaibigan? So far, so good. Again, please share the link and please subscribe and hit the notification bell. Mga kaibigan, nagiging ng vlogger ang mga Met professors nyo. And by the way, alam ko medyo bitin kayo pero don't worry. Starting June, every week, you would get to know your Met lecturers up close and personal. And you would realize na sila ay talagang mga bigatin sa kanilang mga fields. Diba? So June, I'll see you in June. Next. Despite their family's objection, the twins decided to live by blank in the big city. Is it A, ourselves, B, themselves, C, oneself, or D, myself? Now mga kaibigan, twins po ang ating pinagbabasihan dito. And when we say twins, mga kaibigan, ito ba yung singular? Ito ba isa lang or dalawa? Pag twins, isa or dalawa? O madali yan ha. Pag twins, isa or dalawa? Dalawa, syempre, tama? So it means dapat plural. So what's the answer? Is it ourselves or themselves? Pag ourselves, dapat kasama ka. Hindi ka naman part ng twins, di ba? So in here, the clear answer is letter B, themselves. Despite their family's objection, the twins decided to live by themselves in the city. O, bago ako magpatuloy, my dear friends na nasa YouTube live natin, lahat ba kayo so far ay perfect sa English? Kung perfect sa English, patype naman dyan, perfect. Sabi sa inyo kaya talaga tong i-perfect ang ating English test. Perfect ba? Perfect yan. Okay, next, Ate Clarissa. The seat work, ito, my dear friends, ito ay very controversial at ito ay lagi ding lumalabas sa board exam for teachers. So ito, dapat ito once and for all, linawin natin ang sagot. Sabi dito, the seat work is difficult for Miranda and blank. Is it A, I, B, myself, C, me, or D, mine? Now, my dear friends, believe me, in the exam, laging nalilito ang mga bata o ang mga kumukuha ng exam dito. Bakit? Kasi we are accustomed to hearing you and I, my family and I. So immediately, mga kaibigan, without even thinking about it, ang ating sinasagot dyan, madalas ay I. Diba? Like, the seat work is difficult for Miranda and I. Immediately, without thinking, yun ang ating initial response. Pero my dear friends, sayang ang 1 point. And remember, even a single point is very important in the board exam for teachers. Kasi my dear friends, kung ang sagot mo ay I, ang sagot mo ay mali. Because my dear friends, Miranda and I are not subjects but objects. Ginagamit lang po ang I pag ikaw ang subject, pag ikaw ang gumagawa. At mga kaibigan, ginagamit ang me pag ikaw ang object, pag ikaw ang tumatanggap. So mga kaibigan, in this question, the answer is me. Letter C. Yun nga lang mga kaibigan, sometimes matigas ang ulo natin, di ba? Sa exam, upon encountering the same question, kahit alam mo na ang sagot, magda-doubt ka na naman. Kasi nasa sayo na yan Kasi I think in the Philippines, commonly, pag grammar ang tanong, we always play it by ear. Na kung ano magandang pakinggan, tama, yun ang ginagawa natin. Sometimes di yun tama Minsan, minsan talaga, mali yun. So my dear friends, when in doubt, especially in the exam, ito ang gawin natin. Alisin mo si Miranda. Or sa mga taga-hybrid dyan, alam niyo yung gagawin natin? Anong gagawin kay Miranda, mga kaibigan? Sa mga nag-hybrid, we should. This is a bit violent, mga kaibigan. Pero this is my technique. Sabi dyan, patayin. Sabi ni Diana, patayin si, si Miranda. So alisin si Miranda. Then remove Miranda in the equation and then read again the sentence. Sabi dyan, the seat work is difficult for blank. For Aiba or for me? Of course, me na agad ang sagot. So that is the technique that you must do. My dear friends, once again, in this question, the answer is me. The seat work is difficult for Miranda and me. Oh, dapat tama yan, ha? Ayan, ha? Kill daw, patayin si Miranda. Anyway, I think this is our last question for this evening. Ayan, this is linguistics. Which of the following, ito medyo mahirap to, guys. Medyo mahirap to, medyo challenging to. Which of the following is a voiced labiodental fricative? Nako, mahirap. Pero mga kaibigan, tingin ko in here, the key is experimenting on the descriptions. Let's start with voiced. O, mga kaibigan, dapat alam na natin to, ha? Pero sa di pa nakakaalam, ituturo ko sa inyo kung ano nga pa pagkakaiba ng voiced at voiceless. Everybody, tandaan to. Para malaman kung ang sound is voiced or voiceless, you need to place your palm, yung inyong palad. Ngayon kung napapanood nyo ako, pwede nyo gawin together with me, ha? You must place your palm, ito, on your vocal cords like this. Ganyan. Lagyan nyo lang ganyan. Ayan. Hawakan nyo yung leg nyo ganyan. And then, my friends, pronounce or enunciate the letters. Simple lang yan. If you felt that there are vibrations sa inyong vocal cords, it means the sound is voiced. Ayan, ha. So kung may nginig sa inyong lalamunan, ibig sabihin ang sound ay voiced. On the other hand, my dear friends, pag walang nginig sa inyong lalamunan, it means it is voiceless. So yun ang ating unang gamitin. Ang hinahanap sa tanong ay voiced sound. Now, let's look at the options. Let us try. Let's try. Letter A is F. Now, everybody, put your palm kung kaya nyo, kung gusto nyo gawin with me para maalala nyo. Put your palm on your vocal cords like this. And then pronounce F. Everybody say O, chatbox tayo, my dear friends. Chatbox tayo. Tanong, meron bang vibration sa ating vocal cords sa F? Meron ba o wala? Sagot naman. May vibration o wala? Meron o wala? O how about letter B? Sa B naman, sa B ay, everybody, gawin natin, yung letter B. Uy! Ay, alam natin yung letter B. Meron na wala? O how about letter C, S? Meron o wala? Di ba ang ganda? Pag ginagawa natin, mas naiisip natin yan eh. At pag naisip natin na ginagawa natin, mas natatandaan. Tama? So, how about letter D? Z. Okay. Z. So, meron. So, ibig sabihin mga kaibigan, if we are looking for voiced labiodental, dapat out na sa options natin yung mga voiceless. Out na dapat yung S at yung F. So, mamimili tayo. Is it letter B, V, or letter D, Z? Sige nga, try nyo. Anong sagot dyan? Letter B ba o letter D? B as in V or D as in Z? Maganda yan. Let's go back to the question, mga kaibigan. Ang sabi dyan, labiodental. O, di ba? Labiodental. Prior knowledge. When we say labio, anong unang word ang naiisip mo? Pag sinabing labio, anong unang part ng katawan mo ang naiisip mo? Di ba? A labio. Your lips, tama? Eh, dental. When we say dental, anong part ng katawan mo ang una mong naaalala? Siyempre, ang inyong ngipin. So it means, my friends, when we say labiodental, the most active parts of your mouth in pronouncing the sound must be your lip and your tongue. Not tongue, sorry. Sorry, not tongue. Your lip. What? Your lip and your teeth. What was I thinking? I'm so sorry. Your lip and your teeth, my dear friends. Kaya naman, between V and z, z. Alin doon ang lip and teeth? Maganda, lalapit ako sa camera. Ayan, lalapit yung bibig ko sa camera. Letter B is letter B. Letter Z, z, wala. So my dear friends, kuha na natin. Di ba? Kuha na. So ibig sabihin, ano ang sagot natin mga kaibigan? Letter B. Because my dear friends, is hindi ako makamove dun sa letter V. Letter B is a voice labiodental fricative. So, ayan. O, di ba? Ang dali lang ng English. And don't worry, my dear friends. In the next mini coaching series to come in English, pag-uusapan naman natin ng literature, mag-uusap tayo about linguistics, mag-uusap tayo about grammar, marami pang iba. And mga kaibigan, tingin ko that would end our mini coaching part number 2 tonight. Mark, andiyan ka na ba, Mark? Hindi ako makamove dun sa tongue, Mark. So ito ay, again, pag labiodental, let me repeat lang ha, teeth and lip yun. At I think alam naman ng mga estudyante yan. Ayan. O ang tanong mga kaibigan, are you ready for the raffle? Mark?
Ayan, for the raffle, sir, tatawagin natin, meron tayong kasama.
Ay, may special guest tayo. Pero bago yan, mga kaibigan if you're ready for the raffle, please say, raffle! I-type nyo sa ating chat box, raffle na, raffle time.
Sir, ang makakasama natin sa raffle for tonight ay si Sir Kevin.
Ay, ang Ginoong Etcobañez. So, ating tiyatawagan para magbalik sa ating silid aralan online. What? Sir Mark Etcobañez, Kevin, nandiyan ka na ba? Marami nang gustong manalo ngayong gabi. Pero Mark, let me remind them, my dear friends, para manalo sa raffle, para maging ikaw ay isang qualified na winner sa raffle na ito, kailangan subscriber ka na ng ating YouTube channel. So subscribe na, my dear friends. Ayan na, raffle time na. Tama, ang hashtag is road to 500 ng MAT. Tama ka, Tong. Salamat. Walang anuman sa inyong lahat, mga kaibigan. See you sa June. Mark, raffle na tayo.
Alright, sir. So dito sa raffle natin, hindi siya typical na raffle kung hindi question and answer.
Ay, Q&A. Exciting. Sige.
Sa chat box natin sa YouTube, no sagot. Okay?
Ayan.
So, ko lang yung YouTube ko. And then, titignan ko kung sino yung mauuna or pwede ba tayo magpatulong sa mga kasamahan natin na tignan ko yung mauuna.
Dapat may spotter tayo dyan.
So, siguro si Ate Clarissa na lang at bilisan na natin because it's already 9:25.
Oo nga eh.
Alright, first question. Ready na ba kayo? Kung ready na kayo, please let
Marami bang question, Mark?
Sir?
Marami bang ipaparaffle ngayon?
Dito sa ating chat box, dito sa ating GC, sir, parang meron tayong 3 questions.
Ay, 3. Okay, sige, go.
Yan. So, ibig sabihin, 3 yung pwedeng manalo for tonight.
Ay.
So, tingnan pa natin yung advice ni Ma'am Jen kung magdadagdag tayo ng winners for tonight. Okay? So, first question would be, so Met will celebrate its blank anniversary this year. Okay? Pang ilang year na ng Met this year. Okay? So paunahan po sa chat box ng YouTube.
Paano mo nalaman kung tama? Hindi ko alam kung malaman kung tama. Sino mag-decide kung tama?
Ma'am Jen, calling Ma'am Jen.
Pero wala pa namang sumasagot. Ayan, okay, alam na natin ang sagot. Ayan na. Ayan, nako 2 years. Miss Ventures, more than 2 years na po ang Met. Sabi ni Ma'am Jill, 90 at 20. Sabi ni Dexter, 3 years. Sir Dexter, mas matagal na po ang Met, sir. Sabi ni 1.2, matagal na po ang Met. Naku, wala pa nakakatama, guys. Wala pa nakakatama. Wala pa. 10 years, 25 years. Wala pa po nakakatama. So answer pa tayo ng answer. 20, hindi po 20. Hindi po. Diyan, ano ko, mukhang nahirapan sila, Sir Mark.
Oo nga.
Remember, at stake sa ating raffle ay ang unang-unang kopya ng 2021 edition ng book natin. Ayun, meron na. Meron na, nakita ko na. Meron na.
Eleanor,
Si Ma'am Eleanor, nako, hybrid one to. Hi, Ma'am Eleanor, tama ka. The answer is 19 years. Yes.
celebrate its 19th year,
19
19th
years.
anniversary this
19.
Congratulations,
Congrats.
ma'am. So,
Congrats, Ma'am Eleanor.
may message na lang siya no, sir, ng ating admin.
Aha.
So, for her reward.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you.
Next would be, so how many top notchers were produced by Met Review Center?
Wow, mahirap yan. O sige, how many top notchers daw ang naproduce ng Met? So ayan, ilan top notchers na naproduce ng Met? Nako, ang clue ko sa inyo, marami. Marami.
Yes. So, ilan na daw?
Ma'am Jen, calling Ma'am Jen.
Answer, please.
para malaman natin kung ilan. Pero kasi hindi ko talaga mabibilang yan. Mhm.
Alright. So, tingnan natin. Hintayin
Sabi
natin.
ni Robert, 12 daw. More than 12, Sir Robert, ang top notchers ng Met. Kasi parang matagal na tayo nasa business. Meron na ba sagot si Ma'am Jen, Mark? Ala, kinakabahan ako, baka may tama na. Ma'am Jen. So, tapos sila.
Nagbibilang
Oo nga eh. Pero ang taas merong 51, merong 50, merong 51, merong 100. Alam mo ka talagang kinakarir ng ating mga viewers ang ating raffle for tonight. Ma'am Jen? Alam. Ma'am Jen? 52, sabi ni Eleanor, mukhang tatama na naman to eh. Dalawa lang libro mo if ever. 1,000 daw sana naman. Actually, Christina Figueroa, 1,000 kasama ka dyan. Baka isa ka sa 1,000 na top notcher. Ayan. Oh, ilan? Ano ba yun? Ang dami-dami. So, anong sagot? Nako, meron ba tayong sagot?
Tingnan mo yung
Sakto. Ma'am Jen, sakto po.
palitan daw yung
Ay, walang makatama. So, bahala ka dyan, Mark.
Uy,
Ayan, meron tamang sagot, pero parang wala pa nakakatama eh.
Balikan natin.
Oo, parang wala. Malapit si Jennifer Taberna, malapit ka pa pero ma'am, di ka nakatama. Wala pa nakakatama. Malapit din si Ma'am Jennifer. Sir Dexter, malapit ka rin, pero hindi tama. So mga kaibigan, ayan na. Nagbibilang na. Wala pa rin ba, Mark? Sayang po yung libro. Kayo po yung unang makatanggap nun. And Mark, habang nag-aabang ka ng tamang sagot, mayabang lang natin, no? Ang ating Met Reviewer Book 2021 edition ay maraming features ng pang new normal. Number 1, meron tong QR code na pag in-scan nyo, lalabas sa screen ninyo ang mga lectures and rationalizations ng inyong mga lecturers. Ganun ka-high-tech ang ating libro. Ayan, so wala po nakatama mga kaibigan. Next question na tayo. The answer is 42. So wala po nakatama. So next question tayo, Sir Mark.
Next question.
Last na ba yan? Last na, no?
Namimili pa ako ng susunod na question. Ang question, hindi ko alam kung masasagutin nila to. Feeling ko mas mahirap pa to sa board exam. What is the title of the 2021 book of Met Review Center?
Nako, parang dito.
Ano ba nila to? But
Hindi pa ito kasi nare-release, Ma'am Jen eh.
So far, si Ma'am Jennifer Taberna pa lang yung tama, no? So, second, ilang question na natin to, sir? Third?
Pangalawa pa lang kasi wala naman nakasagot nung ilang top notchers.
The third question would be, So the third question would be, ano yung title ng reviewer book
Oo,
ng
pero
Met for
parang di ata ito
2020?
mahuhula kasi hindi pa ito nare-release. Actually, kayo nga una makakatanggap nito if ever manalo ka. Wala. So, Sir Mark, ano bang pamagat? Ikaw na nga mag-reveal yung pamagat ng ating bagong libro na makakuha ng winner.
Ang pamagat ng ating reviewer book na sobrang kakaiba talaga.
Super.
Kasi hirapan talaga natin to ng sobra talaga. So the title of our book is Met Lept Reviewer, the Better Normal Edition.
Yan. Better Normal Edition. Tama.
Better Normal Edition. So,
At may pagka-high-tech ang ating libro kasi may QR code. Smart, ano? Okay, next question tayo.
wala nang question dito, sir.
Ay, wala na. Wala na palang question, mga kaibigan. So, isa lang. Maganda, isa pa, siguro yung about the lecture naman, my dear friends. At tiyan kung nakikinig sila.
Sige, sir. Ikaw na lang yung magbigay.
Kasi wala pa, isa pa lang nananalo, si Eleanor pa lang di ba? So, isa pa.
Para
Isa pa lang.
fresh, sir, sa kanila, ikaw yung magbigay.
Sige. Okay, ito. Everybody, nako, pay attention Ito ang ating tanong at ang mananalo ay magkakamit ng kopya ng ating 2021 Better Normal Edition. Here's the question. Ano ang fourth state of matter? Yan, alam niyo yan, mga kaibigan. Ano ang fourth state of matter? Type. Fourth state of matter. Kakabanggit na ni Sir Ryan kanina niyan. What is the fourth state of matter? Sino mananalo? Ma'am Eleanor, huwag ka nang sumagot. Dalawa na yung libro mo pag sumagot ka pa. All together daw. Hindi na all together. Ma'am Marie. Mga kaibigan, sino? Ano nang sagot? Ayun, meron na. Meron po nanalo. Si Sir, tama po ba? Si Sir Dexter po ba na una? Sa akin, si Sir Dexter na una. Tama ba, Mark?
Yes, sir. Si Sir Dexter So.
Hi, Sir Dexter. So, if you are our subscriber, manalo ka ng ating bagong kopya o bagong libro na Met Lept Reviewer 2021 Better Normal Edition. So, Sir Dexter, maraming salamat po.
Siguro,
And I think
mahirapan yung admin natin na hanapin sila on Facebook. Siguro i-message nila yung Facebook page natin.
Sir Dexter, i-message mo yung ating Facebook page na Met Review Facebook page para makuha mo ang details kung paano mo kuhain ang iyong prize. Salamat and congrats kay Ma'am Eleanor at kay Sir Dexter. And my dear friends, sa ating 52 viewers or 60 viewers ngayon, mga kaibigan, maraming salamat. And hope to see you again in our future mini coaching series starting sa June next month. Mark? And syempre, kung hindi pa nagagawa, my dear friends, please subscribe to our channel and then please hit the notification bell and syempre i-share din ang link ng ito sa inyong mga social media platforms. Our road to 500. Ayan, Mark?
Yes, and thank you so much everyone for joining us tonight. And hopefully makasama pa namin kayo sa mga susunod nating ayuda. Alright? At syempre, para keep ma-update din kayo sa mga monthly ayuda natin, do not forget to like our official Facebook page. It's Met Review Center. And if you have any inquiries, just send us a message. So thank you so much, everyone, and hope you're staying safe and well. Bye!
Bye, everybody! See you soon next month, mga kaibigan. Next month. Bye!